Chapter 557. Blood Mist Palace. The most lively place in the Blood Mist Land. Clumps of blood-red mist swirled around the palace like blood dragons circling outside the tower. This was the place where the blood mist was thickest, even thicker than the blood mist forest. Every blood assassin had to pass through here because all missions were handed in here. Similarly, every newcomer had to be promoted to blood assassin here. Isn't that Lin Feng? Yes, it's him. He's here to be promoted to blood assassin? Nonsense. What else can a blood assassin do here other than hand missions? I wonder which blood tower he'll choose. I heard he has a good relationship with Qian Luo from Blood Tower 3. They're very close. Yes, I met him in Crimson Blood Tower. The symbol of Blood Tower 3 is on his armor. Among the 33 blood towers, the one that invited him the most was Blood Tower 3. Everyone's eyes focused on him. Even Blood Killer, who was on duty and in charge of the newcomer's advancement, looked at Lin Feng curiously. A popular newcomer in the camp. They had only heard of his name, but never seen him in person. Hello, I want to be promoted to Blood Assassin. Lin Feng nodded with a smile. Release your aura. Blood Assassin Xiaoying said as he sized up Lin Feng. This newcomer also came from the East Peace Continent. He created chaos in East Spirit City and killed A.O. Lin, the young sect master of the God Nirvana sect. This matter was not only known by Blood Tower 30, but also the entire Blood Tower. Whoosh! Lin Feng released his aura. It wasn't Saint Power, but Saint Qi. Even so, it was still quite extraordinary. Third stage fetus? Xiaoying was startled and nodded slightly. He wasn't surprised. A newcomer king who could make 33 blood towers go crazy was definitely not ordinary. A third stage fetus would be comparable to a 4-blood assassin, just like Blood Shadow. Done. Xiaoying quickly recorded. Turn in your beast. Lin Feng's storage ring flashed, and a huge demonic beast appeared in an instant. But compared to the magnificent palace, it was just a drop in the ocean. Even so, because of Lin Feng's fame, it attracted a lot of attention. Low-rank super beast? Didn't they say he's a super newcomer? He killed a low-rank super beast? Whispers could be heard. Lin Feng looked at Blood Killer Xiaoying, who was riding in front of him, and couldn't help but ask, this is a low-rank super demon beast, not meeting the requirements of the mission? Xiaoying raised her head. With your strength, you shouldn't be able to kill low-rank super demonic beasts, right? Yes. Lin Feng didn't understand what he meant, but he still nodded. He glanced at Xiaoying's armor and saw the number 30 clearly printed on it. She came from Blood Tower number 30, which was the Eastcom continent. Since that's the case, why don't we hunt some slightly stronger super demonic beasts? Xiaoying asked. Is there a difference? Lin Feng asked. Of course. Xiaoying's beautiful eyes glanced over. How much do you know about Blood Assassin's advancement? Lin Feng said in a low voice. I know a thing or two. I'll level up Blood Killer by completing missions. There are many types of missions. Normal missions, bounty missions, promotion missions, solo missions, small team missions, and so on. Xiaoying said, Blood Killer needs to complete the promotion mission of the next level for every promotion. And it must be his solo mission. Lin Feng understood. So, it's very troublesome to raise Blood Killer's level? You can say that, Xiaoying said, but when a newcomer advances for the first time, there's a chance to directly raise Blood Killer's level by handing in a mission. If you hand in a low-rank super demonic beast, you'll become a level 1 killer. If you hand in a mid-rank super demonic beast, you'll become a level 2 killer. And if you hand in an upper-rank super demonic beast, you'll become a level 3 killer. Lin Feng suddenly understood. If he had the strength of a sub-weak, he could start from a level 1 killer and complete those level 1 and level 2 missions. Obviously, it was a waste of resources and time. A year ago, the mission Blood Shadow handed in was a low-rank fierce god beast, Xiaoying said. He was exempted from 3 promotion tests and directly became a level 4 killer. So, if you have the strength, you can hunt this beast again. It can save you a lot of time. Thank you. Lin Feng smiled and nodded at Xiaoying. If she hadn't kindly reminded him, he wouldn't have known. However, this convenience was useless for most newcomers. They were newcomers who had just broken through to sub-week. For example, Fong Yu and Fong Lin could barely kill a low-ranked super beast when they formed a team. Xiaoying glanced at Lin Feng and said indifferently, "You're welcome." Since they were both from the East Peace continent, she would naturally give some advice to the juniors. Xiaoying said, "Then, do you want to hand the mission now, or go back?" "Now," Lin Feng said. Xiaoying frowned slightly. She was a little displeased, but she didn't say anything. As a senior, she had to give him pointers. If this super newbie wanted to go his own way, she couldn't stop him. Thinking about it, he was young and arrogant. Xiaoying said coldly, "Okay, I'll help you become a blood assassin." "No, I want to change to a mission beast." Lin Feng put away the low-ranked super beast. In an instant, a giant bear with golden and black stripes appeared. It was covered in scales and looked like a mountain. Its size was far larger than the low-ranked super beast from before. Boom! The golden-scaled battle bear king landed, and the entire blood mist palace seemed to shake slightly. Its gigantic body and scales that resembled those of a war god immediately attracted everyone's attention. Xiaoying, who was closest to it, opened her eyes wide. Golden-scaled battle bear king. Damn, an upper-ranked demon god beast. It's one of the top 10 beasts in the blood mist forest. Gasps could be heard. Pairs of eyes were wide open as they looked over in shock. It was as if they were looking at a monster. They had seen a lot of newcomers, but less than 10% of them turned in mid-rank super beasts. Less than 1 in 1,000 turned in upper-rank super beasts. As for those who turned in demon god beasts, it was a rare sight. Turning an upper-rank demon god beast was unheard of. The golden scale battle bear king was something that even a level 6 killer might not be able to defeat. Are you kidding? Directly promoted to a level 6 killer. It's fake. He must have asked other level 6 killers for help. Voices of doubt rose one after another. It was no wonder. An upper-ranked demon god beast, one of the top 10 beasts in the blood mist forest, could be killed by a newcomer? Ridiculous. Did you kill it? Xiaoying asked hesitantly. Lin Feng nodded. Yes. Are you sure you want to use the golden scale battle bear king as the mission beast? Xiaoying frowned. She was also in disbelief. Let me remind you, after becoming a level 6 killer, you can no longer accept missions with less than level 5 blood. Even level 5 blood missions have a limit. I'm sure. Lin Feng nodded. He did not explain too much. It did not matter what others thought of him. Xiaoying stared at Lin Feng. She paused for a moment and then wrote down. Okay, the blood tower you want to join is East Peace Continent, blood tower number 30, Lin Feng said slowly. Chapter 558. There was an uproar. Yenf Lin Feng did not choose the popular blood tower number 3, nor did he choose the sincere blood tower number 2. Instead, like Blood Shadow, he chose to return to his hometown, East Peace Continent, blood tower number 30. It was the weakest, ranked outside the top 30 for 7 consecutive years. As expected, he still chose blood tower number 30. Qian Luo smiled when he heard the news. He was not too surprised. When he invited Lin Feng for the second time, he had already guessed that with Lin Feng's character, it was very likely that he would choose his original blood tower. After all, he was not short of money or resources. He looked approachable, but deep down, he was a strong and independent person. There's Blood Shadow and Lin Feng. Blood Tower number 30 will advance by at least 10 places next year. 2 super newcomers, TSK. Blood Tower number 2. The gentle sound of a zither echoed in the Blood Tower. Shimanzi, dressed in red, looked into the distance with a beautiful smile on her lips. Directly promoted to a 6 blood assassin. Interesting newcomer. Blood Tower number 1. Brother Rong. He joined Blood Tower number 30, Haojia said. I see. Rong closed his eyes. The surrounding air was extremely hot. As the fire dragon on his forehead flashed, it frantically swallowed the surrounding fire elements. The power was condensed to the extreme and terrifying, as if it was about to explode. Haojia's eyes widened. You're about to break through, Brother Rong? No hurry. Rong opened his eyes, and there was a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. Wait another 3 months. I want to meet her. Fairy of the Celestial Pavilion. Number 1 on the Glorious Stars list, Humph. Bang. Bang! Fire appeared in his hand, condensing into a towering dragon shape. I want to tell everyone that I, Rong Hua, am the strongest human genius. The qualification for the path of glory. It's mine. Blood Tower number 30. It was not far from the newcomers' camp. Lin Feng had passed by that day, and this time he did not need anyone to lead the way. However, he could not persuade Xiaoying. As a member of Blood Tower number 30, Xiaoying also felt honored to be able to personally accept a super newcomer like Lin Feng into the Blood Tower. Most importantly, Lin Feng was no ordinary newbie, but he had been promoted from a newbie to a 6th blood assassin. From what she knew, he had never heard of it before. Indeed, it was possible to ask someone to help capture an upper-tier demon god beast. But what was the use of becoming a 6th-blooded assassin without the corresponding strength? He couldn't complete the mission. 6th blood assassins could only take on missions with 6 blood and above. 5 blood missions were not given priority, and there was a limit to the number of missions. And if they couldn't even complete a task of the same level every year, he was directly demoted. That would be truly embarrassing. Sister Xiao, our blood tower, doesn't have 8 blood assassins. Lin Feng sneered. No, Xiaoying shook her head. That's why we're at a disadvantage. In the end of the year, we're ranked at the bottom in terms of overall strength, the strongest strength, and the total amount of money. Plus, we're at the bottom in terms of the number of blood assassins, and we don't have enough completed missions. This year and last year, we're only ranked 30th, Lin Feng nodded. 7 blood assassins and above. In fact, it referred to those who had reached the level of a Nemo expert, but their strength was only at the level of a child. If one's strength reached the level of a Nemo expert, then there were 2 ways to go. One was to enter the Nirvana world, and the other was to stay in the Blood Tower and serve as the Tower Master, Elder, or Guide. Generally, upper-level Zizhou experts only had the strength of a 6th blood assassin. It was already good enough to reach 7 blood. Reaching 9 blood was definitely a perfect body with a top-notch talent bloodline. Although we don't have many people, only 18 including you, we're united like a family, Xiaoying said with a smile. The 2 bosses are also very good. Boss Wild Bull takes special care of us, so the other blood towers don't dare to step on our heads. Sister Ning is also very good. If we have any doubts about cultivation, she will help us answer them. What about Blood Shadow? Lin Feng asked. In the Blood Tower, assassins with 7 blood and above were usually addressed as Sir or Boss. He is very mysterious. Xiaoying paused. He's elusive, but Sister Ning said that Blood Shadow will be at least an 8 blood assassin in the future, and very likely a 9 blood assassin. By then, our Blood Tower will definitely be in the top 5. Lin Feng nodded. A 9 blood assassin was very important to the Blood Tower's ranking. At present, the top 3 blood towers all had 9 blood assassins, and the top 20 had 8 blood assassins. Ah Feng, can you honestly answer a question of mine? Xiaoying's gaze fell on him. Lin Feng nodded. He knew what Sister Xiao wanted to ask. That golden-scaled battle bear king, did you really kill it alone? Xiaoying stared at Lin Feng. It's the real deal. Lin Feng smiled and walked towards Blood Tower 30. Outside the Blood Tower, 10 silhouettes stood upright. The one in the lead had a golden horned helmet on his head and was clad in a craggy battle armor. He looked like a giant bull demon king in the wilderness. 7 blood assassin, Wild Bull. Lin Feng naturally recognized him. They had met once at the Crimson Blood Lake, but he had not noticed Lin Feng at that time. Now that he saw him again, he was actually quite surprised. This was because Wild Bull was waiting for him at the entrance of the Blood Tower with his status. He was really flattered. Haha, Brother Lin, you're finally here. Wild Bull went forward and patted Lin Feng on the shoulder with his wide hands. Lord Wild Bull. Lin Feng smiled and nodded. Don't be a stranger. Just call me Brother Bull. Wild Bull put his hand on Lin Feng's shoulder and laughed. We'll be a family in the future. Come, let me introduce you. Except for those who went out for missions, everyone in the Blood Tower is here. Hey, where did Blood Shadow go? The rest of the people looked at each other. Wild Bull pouted and muttered. This guy always does things his own way. It doesn't matter. I saw him at the camp yesterday. Lin Feng said. He wasn't surprised that Blood Shadow wasn't here. With his personality, how could he appear here and greet him warmly? Really? Wild Bull seemed to think of something and clapped his hands. Yes, you and he are both from the Chinese. Of course, you know each other. Brother Bull, you forgot that Brother Lin Feng was recommended by Blood Shadow. Behind them, a kind young man walked up with a smile and extended his right hand. Hello, I'm Goran. We'll be neighbors from now on. Hello. Lin Feng shook his hand. Wild Bull laughed. Come, Brother Lin, let me introduce you one by one. This guy's also a six-blood assassin like you, Goran. You already know Xiaoling. This is the flower of our blood tower, six-blood assassin Xianren. And this one. Wild Bull introduced them one by one. Lin Feng quickly recognized them all. Six-blood assassin Warhawk and seven-blood assassin Ning Muhan weren't here either. They were all out for missions. Even so, he could already feel the harmonious atmosphere in Blood Tower 30. Just like Sister Xiao said, they were like a family. Seems like I made the right choice. Lin Feng was happy. Chapter 559. The ranking of the Blood Tower was not so important to Lin Feng. After all, he didn't need anyone's protection, nor did he lack money or treasures. Even if the number 1 Blood Tower offered a high price of a mid-grade heaven-grade holy treasure, he would ignore it, because he and Qiu Baibu would fight sooner or later. This room is yours from now on. Wild Bull took Lin Feng to the 6th floor of the Blood Tower. Lin Feng touched the wall lightly. The whole room was like a compartment, dividing part of the Blood Tower. It was made of the same material as the Blood Tower. There was a warm current in his hand, but it was extremely tough. Lin Feng couldn't help but praise, what a strong defense. Wild Bull laughed heartily. Of course, even if I hit you with all my strength, I can't leave a mark on the wall. Could the attack of a 7-blood assassin be completely blocked? Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Patting the wall, Wild Bull said, the reason why the Blood Tower can stand in the Nirvana world and the 33 continents is because of these mother-child blood towers, which can cultivate countless blood assassins. Although the Blood Tower here is big, it's just a child tower. The Blood Tower in the Nirvana world is the real Blood Tower, which is bigger than the 33 child blood towers. The Mother-Child Blood Tower, a child blood tower. The bottom of the tower is about 1,000 meters long and wide, and it has 9 floors. The Mother-Child Blood Tower in the Nirvana world is bigger than the 33 child blood towers combined. Lin Feng was shocked. A blood tower with a diameter of more than 30,000 meters was terrifying. The Blood Tower can stand on the Nirvana planet and maintain absolute competitiveness. It's really extraordinary. Wild Bull laughed. You're lucky. The structure of each blood tower is the same. There are 4 independent rooms on the 6th floor. If Blood Shadow hadn't just reached the 7-blood tower, the rooms on the 6th floor would still be full. But if you reach the 7-blood tower, you'll have to wait. Lin Feng nodded. There were only 3 independent rooms on the 7th floor. There were 3 7-blood assassins, Brother Bull, Sister Ning, and Blood Shadow. Can't I stay on the 6th floor after reaching the 7-blood tower? Lin Feng was puzzled. Wild Bull shook his head. This is the rule of the Blood Tower. Furthermore, with every level of the Blood Tower, the concentration of heaven and earth energy will increase by 15%. There shouldn't be any martial artists willing to stay on the next level, right? That's true. Lin Feng smiled. He could feel it when he came in. Every floor he went up, the density of the heaven and earth energy would also increase. Wild Bull patted Lin Feng's shoulder and laughed heartily. The advantage of having fewer people is that at least you can cultivate in your own room. If you join Blood Tower number 3, the 6th and 7th floors will be overcrowded. It won't even be your turn. Lin Feng smiled. As far as he knew, there were 55 blood assassins in Blood Tower number 3, more than 3 times the number here. There were 6 blood assassins in Blood Tower number 6. Actually, you don't have to rush to the 7th floor. There was a bit of loneliness in Wild Bull's eyes. Let's wait until the end of the year. Once this year's Blood Tower evaluation comes out, I will leave. Lin Feng looked at Wild Bull. Beneath his rough face was a candid and upright expression. He could feel Brother Ox's strength. Zizhou was at the 9th level. But he wasn't a perfect body. He was over 30 years old, which meant that it was impossible to increase his mind expanse through normal means. The anthropoid fruits sold in the auction were only effective for warriors under the age of 30. For warriors who had passed the age limit to increase their mind expanse, such a heaven-grade holy fruit was extremely rare in the 33 continents. For example, the blood-red pearl. He entered Blood Tower number 30's 6th floor. The heaven and earth energy is rather dense. Lin Feng sat cross-legged. His body was like a vortex with the third meridian as the center. He was crazily absorbing the surrounding heaven and earth energy. The Blood Tower didn't have as dense a blood mist aura as the Blood Mist Camp, but the heaven and earth energy far exceeded it. Every floor increases by 15%. The 6th floor is 3 times as dense as the 1st floor. If he only counted Little Yun's terminating physique, the soul of Earth cultivation speed would decrease. But if he counted the vortex body, it would far exceed the soul of Earth's terminating physique. The vortex body's overall cultivation speed was 3 times faster than the terminating physique. The overall cultivation speed is about 80% faster than in the Blood Mist Camp. Lin Feng quickly calculated in his mind. The vortex body's cultivation speed had increased by 3 times. But the terminating physique's cultivation speed had decreased a lot. But overall, it was still quite impressive. The cultivation of holy chi and holy power was a real improvement. It was 3 times faster than in the Blood Mist Camp. An 80% improvement isn't bad. Lin Feng smiled. In less than a day, the soul of Earth was getting closer and closer to the fetus 4th stage. In front of him, the blood-red pearls piled up like a mountain. Lin Feng swallowed them one by one and continued to absorb the blood-red pearls' energy to improve his bloodline. 14 pearls. Lin Feng's blood-red pearls reached a shocking number. They turned into a pure energy source as he swallowed them one by one. Although the absorption effect weakened with each blood-red pearl, the accumulation of numbers was enough to make up for it. 100 pearls. 00 pearls. 300 pearls. My body is full. After consuming a total of 315 blood-red pearls, Lin Feng found that his body was like an overflowing pond. It was useless to add more. In the 3rd meridian diagram, the sleeping dragon seemed to have eaten its fill and was now completely asleep. This is the limit. Lin Feng was a little puzzled. He felt as if he was hanging in midair, neither up nor down. But he could not absorb anymore. There was still a lot of blood-red pearl energy left in his body, but his cells, bones, and skin were no longer absorbing. Sighing softly, Lin Feng frowned slightly. He was puzzled. Is my body immune? Lin Feng murmured. Just like poison, when the antibodies were strong enough, they would be immune to the poison. Let's cultivate the other things first. We'll see when the time comes. There was no answer for now. Lin Feng stood up and looked around. The completely sealed wall blocked the aura. This was a completely independent room that was integrated with the entire Blood Tower. In an independent room, there was no need to worry about his secret being discovered. With my current physical strength and control ability, I believe that the 7th layer of the titanium gray body should be at my fingertips. There won't be any problems. Lin Feng closed his eyes and mobilized the titanium grade elements to spread throughout his body. His entire body was like a perfect whole. As Lin Feng opened his eyes and shouted, a silver armor appeared. The crystal patterns quickly seeped into his skin and rapidly shrank, occupying the empty areas of the patterns and pressing down like a spring. That's it. The veins on Lin Feng's forehead protruded. With his mind focused, his control over his body was perfect. The silver patterns shrank at an astonishing rate. As the silver light gradually closed, it emitted a faint golden light. Huh! Lin Feng roared, and the golden dragon soared into the sky. In a split second, the patterns condensed and merged perfectly with his body. The gold and silver lights were dazzling. The 7th layer of the titanium gray body. Success. Wait! Suddenly, Lin Feng was startled. Chapter 560. His originally saturated body began to absorb again. The remaining energy of the crimson blood bead was quickly absorbed by his strengthened body. Lin Feng maintained his titanium gray body at the 7th level and felt the changes in his bloodline. He instantly understood. Body. Only a strong enough body can contain a strong enough bloodline. Just like the Blue Moon clan, they only have a blue half-moon on their forehead during the cyclone stage. Only when the strength reaches the Qi cloud stage will there be a blue full moon, and the bloodline will be fully awakened. No wonder I can't absorb any more bloody pearl energy after absorbing half. Lin Feng took another bloody pearl and swallowed it directly. The moment it entered his stomach, the energy spread out and was absorbed by his body again. At this time, his body still showed no signs of saturation. The 7th tier of the titanium gray body increased his body strength by 30 times. My body in the normal state is stronger than demons of the same level, about the peak of the fetus week. A 30 times increase is about the 5th tier of the Nemo weak humans. Lin Feng nodded. As his strength level increased, his physical advantage in the normal state was not so obvious. After all, other Nemo humans were also cultivating holy qi and eating holy fruits to strengthen their body. But the foundation was there, and the improvement of the body was the most obvious when one's strength was low. Continue to eat. Lin Feng smiled. He felt the hunger of his body. 400, 500, 600, eating 300 this time took a lot of time. After all, it was not easy to maintain the 7th tier of the titanium gray body. Every time, the titanium element had to recover before he could continue to absorb. Lin Feng was not in a hurry. He joined the blood tower to cultivate without being disturbed. After a full half a month, his body finally felt full. Although he had fused it at the 7th level of the titanium gray body, after returning to normal, the fused bloodline would not decrease. As the last bit of the crimson blood beads' energy disappeared, Lin Feng let out a sigh of relief. He was full again. That day, the spirit of the earth was only at the fetus week. Now, it was equal to the spirit of the talent at the fetus week. Still not enough. There's still a long way to go before the bloodline power increases. Half a month of cultivation and bloodline improvement. Lin Feng knew his body better than anyone else. 733 beads. Half of the crimson blood beads are gone just like that. With a bitter smile, Lin Feng stood up. It was not easy for him to steal 1353 crimson blood pearls from the sky, swallowing Sunwolf. Including the original ones, he now had 14 crimson blood pearls. It was directly cut in half. I don't know if it's enough. However, I believe that with these blood-red pearls, when I break through to become an MO expert in the future, my bloodline power will increase again. Only a breakthrough in the level of life could improve one's bloodline. Just like a perfect body and the stimulation of the 3rd meridian map, crossing the sub-week mark was definitely a breakthrough in the level of life. Compared to the crimson blood bead's ability to fill in the gaps, a true breakthrough in the level of life and the improvement of one's bloodline was much greater. Oh, Lin Feng was surprised. As soon as he opened the door, the wind howled. Pa! Pa! Beautiful roses bloomed one after another. The petals danced and formed a flower formation. The fragrance of the flowers was poisonous. In the flower formation, a black-clothed figure wielded a battle saber. His eyes were cold as he spun in circles like a hawk. Every swing of his battle saber brought about a bone-chilling gust of wind. Sub-week rank 7, 6 blood assassin Warhawk. Warhawk, Qianren? Lin Feng was surprised. He recognized Warhawk. It could be said that other than Blood Shadow, Warhawk was the first blood assassin he met. Back when the envoy brought him in, Warhawk happened to be out on a mission. Lin Feng still remembered the man who exuded killing intent. His saber arts are very strong, and he's also very cautious. Lin Feng stared at Warhawk, unable to take his eyes off him. Warhawk's saber arts, be it his saber arts, mental sutra, or realm, were a level higher than his. Watching him fight up close was extremely beneficial. However, Lin Feng looked at Qianren in the flower formation and was alarmed. You can't judge a book by its cover. The seemingly delicate Qianren, who was about the same age as Brother Bull, was the flower of the Blood Tower. She was extremely proficient in the true evolution of flowers. She could use the profound meaning at her fingertips. Coupled with her movement technique and unique flower formation, Warhawk was at a disadvantage. Powerful, Lin Feng observed carefully. He was not a match for either of them. Unless he attacked with Fei Lun Huan, he would have a chance, but it was only Warhawk. With Qian Rin's movement and mastery of the profound, unless she is unprepared, Fei Lun Huan will not be able to hurt her. Lin Feng looked at the fierce battle in front of him. In a short time, Warhawk attacked several times, but they were all blocked by Qian Rin. Using the flower formation to control the enemy, and using the roses to attack. In addition to his superb movement technique, it could be said that he was in an invincible position. However, Warhawk did not admit defeat. Chi! The petals streaked across like a dagger, leaving a bloody mark on Warhawk's face. However, Warhawk did not even frown. He spun in a circle, changing the direction of his saber from time to time. Saber Chi broke through the air and destroyed the flower formation. Suddenly, boom! Warhawk attacked. The saber in his hand carried a gust of wind, like a tornado. Tornadoes spread out with him as the center spinning like a top. From 1 to 10, vortexes appeared. Wind Saint Chi condensed in the vortexes and spun rapidly. Profound meaning of wind. This is... Lin Feng's eyes widened. At this time, the vortex in the third meridian diagram seemed to appear. His body was slightly shaken. Looking at Warhawk's saber and the evolution of the vortexes, Lin Feng was stunned. The changes in the battle made him unable to see anything else clearly. All he could see was the vortexes. Whoosh, whoosh. The changes of the vortexes appeared in front of him. The profound meaning of wind unfolded like a scroll. The mysteries of the profound meaning appeared in his mind. It was effortless. Lin Feng subconsciously moved his right hand, and a vortex appeared. Then, he drew a line with his finger. Shwa! Swish! 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 4 vortexes appeared out of thin air and gathered into a ball. It's that simple. Lin Feng was stunned. He felt that he had grasped it. Then, he used it so simply and easily. It was as if he had copied Warhawk's profound meaning of wind. But my wind aptitude is very ordinary. Lin Feng was stunned. The sudden turn of events was both surprising and delightful. His wind aptitude was very ordinary. His Saint Chi of wind was only at the first level. Even with the perfect body and the increased sensitivity of the vortexes, there was still a huge gap between his Saint Chi of thunder, Saint Chi of light, and Saint Chi of darkness. But it was not easy to comprehend one profound meaning of these 3 types of Saint Chi, even if it was the most basic profound meaning. And the profound meaning of wind that he had just comprehended, it was the elementary profound meaning. That day, it took me a few months to comprehend the profound meaning of darkness, Dark Devour. Lin Feng was in disbelief. Right now, only an instant had passed. I understand. Lin Feng took a deep breath. His eyes were bright. Chapter 561. Whirlpool. It was a whirlpool. It must have something to do with my whirlpool, Lin Feng thought to himself. With his perception of wind and his ordinary wind talent, it was impossible for him to comprehend the profound meaning of wind in an instant. A rare epiphany? It couldn't be so coincidental. If it was dark holy chi or light holy chi, it might make sense. But if it was wind holy chi, the possibility was 0. As expected, Lin Feng looked at Warhawk again. Warhawk's blade was like a wind blade, constantly thrusting. It was another fusion of profound meaning of wind with his blade technique. But this time, he didn't even feel anything, let alone comprehend it. It was as if he was looking at a stranger. Whirlpool, whirlpool. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. Many. For example, the profound meaning of light, penetration, could also be used in the profound meaning of lightning. The profound meaning was like a blade technique, which was a way to use the form of holy chi. The whirlpool was a form, which was not unique to water. Just like weight, mountains had weight, soil had weight, and so did water. If that's the case, Lin Feng's heart raced. Profound meaning of light, profound meaning of darkness, and profound meaning of thunder. Wouldn't it be easy for him to comprehend all of them, even if he couldn't integrate them into his blade technique? The changes of profound meaning and the variety of holy qi were enough to be used in battle. Lin Feng knew very well how important profound meaning was in a battle, just like the battle between Qian Ren and Warhawk. Warhawk is going to lose, Lin Feng whispered. Warhawk lost. What a mystical flower formation. Lin Feng's mind was filled with memories of the battle just now. It was a great enlightenment for him. If I were Warhawk, how would I break it? Lin Feng frowned slightly. There was one thing that he was sure of. His true eye-saint power could see through the flower formation, but his speed was too slow compared to Qian Yu's. His body movement was also incomparable. My strength is not enough. Lin Feng knew his weakness. His strength couldn't keep up. Wait until I reach the 7th level next week, and I'll explode the titanium gray body. My speed will be comparable to an ordinary 9th level warrior of the first week. When I reach the 8th level of the first week, my body will reach the peak of the first week. When I reach the 9th level of the first week, my body will become my advantage. Saber techniques. Vortex profound intent. Lin Feng's goal was clear. Brother Lin Feng, you really amazed the world with a single brilliant feat, Warhawk laughed. He wasn't the least bit dispirited by his defeat. In a short span of 2 months, I've only completed a few missions, but Brother Lin Feng has already caught up to me. Qian Yu's beautiful eyes looked over with splendor. Indeed, he was too outstanding. He had been in the Bloody Tower for more than 2 months. There were many examples of people being promoted from Reserve Assassin to Blood Assassin, but it was unheard of to directly become a 6th Blood Assassin. Do you want to compete? Qian Ren asked. Lin Feng was stunned. Warhawk didn't know whether to laugh or cry. All right, Qian Ren, it's fine if you bully an old man like me, but don't bully a newcomer. Qian Yu's beautiful eyes flickered. It's just a spar. Warhawk looked at Lin Feng. Don't be fooled by her lowly appearance. She's actually soft on the outside, but tough on the inside. She loves to spar with others. Countless 6th Blood Assassins have been defeated by her. In terms of combat strength, one is her, and the other is Blood Tower 8's Snowblowing. They are a pair of peerless beauties, and their strength is close to that of a 7th Blood Assassin. Snowblowing. Lin Feng remembered. She was famous during the Blood Red era. She and Blood Shadow were the only 6 Blood Assassins who had obtained Blood Pearls. In terms of combat strength, she was ranked in the top 10 of all 6 Blood Assassins. Qianrun was as famous as her. Clearly, she was one of the top 6 Blood Assassins. I'm inferior to her, said Qianyu. Don't belittle yourself, said Warhawk. You have long attained a perfect body. Your talent and potential surpass hers. In terms of combat strength, you're only on par. Qianrun didn't say a word. However, Lin Feng already understood that Qianrun was referring to her perfect body. Snowblowing didn't, so even though their combat strength was similar, she believed that she was inferior to Snowblowing. Their eyes met. Lin Feng understood a lot from Qianrun's eyes. It was fighting spirit. She was just belligerent. I'm no match for you now, Lin Feng said frankly. Although he also wanted to compete with Qianrun, it was meaningless to use Flywheel Huan. In close combat, he probably wouldn't be able to last a few seconds. It was also meaningless. Such a spar was meaningless. Qianyu scoffed. You're as timid as a mouse. Although she was a woman of few words, she had the naivety of a young girl. She wasn't deliberately mocking him. Lin Feng didn't mind and only smiled. Don't take it to heart. She doesn't have any ill intentions, said Warhawk. I know. Lin Feng looked in the direction Qianrun had left. She had already returned to her room and was cultivating in seclusion. Warhawk smiled. Actually, Qianrun has always been compared to Snowblowing. Before she achieved a perfect body, the two had a competition and she lost. With a soft sigh, Warhawk said, Snowblowing is 1 year younger than her. However, Qianrun achieved a perfect body before Snowblowing. Lin Feng nodded. Was there another competition after that? Warhawk shook his head. Their combat strength is about the same. To be honest, Qian Run might be stronger. Lin Feng nodded. The difference between a perfect body and an imperfect body was still very big. Assassins with more than 8 HP were all perfect bodies. She's afraid that others will say that she has an unfair advantage. Lin Feng understood. Warhawk looked at Qian's room and said, "Actually, she's a very kind girl. Once, she and I went on a mission together. At the critical moment, she instinctively wanted to escape by herself. However, she stayed behind without hesitation." "What happened after that?" asked Lin Feng. Warhawk smiled. "Later, both of us were seriously injured and were on the verge of death. Fortunately, Brother Bull arrived and saved our lives. Mad Bull, number 30 Blood Tower's well-deserved boss. That's why we all respect Brother Ox. This time, Brother Ox got Blood Shadow's help and got a blood red pearl. We are all happy for him." Warhawk said, "Unfortunately, there's only one. If only we could get 3 like Blood Shadow." Blood Shadow broke through to a perfect body. Lin Feng remembered it clearly. Seeing Blood Shadow this time, the feeling he gave him was completely different. Warhawk nodded. "But Brother Bull is still short of a breath. Sigh, if only there were 1 or 2 more." Brother Bull secretly asked many people, but he didn't get anything. Now, we can only hope that such a holy fruit will appear at the auction. To be honest, the situation isn't optimistic. Lin Feng fell into deep thought. By the way, Warhawk looked over. "Brother Lin Feng, you also participated in the Blood Red Pearl. Do you know if anyone secretly hid a Blood Red Pearl?" Lin Feng chuckled. Others didn't know, but he had indeed hidden quite a lot. "Got it," replied Lin Feng. Warhawk's eyes widened. He hadn't expected Lin Feng to know. He asked anxiously, "Who is it? Is he willing to sell it? Is it true?" "It's the real deal." Lin Feng smiled and pointed at himself. "It's me." To be continued. Chapter 562. Lin Feng naturally wasn't a kind person. However, Wild Bull was indeed a good person. And from Lin Feng's point of view, he needed money. A huge sum of money. "Brother Lin Feng, why, you really have a blood red pearl?" Wild Bull's face flushed red with excitement. Even his voice stuttered. 10 years ago, he was already a 7 bloodline assassin. According to the rules, he could enter the Nirvana world even if he didn't have a perfect body. However, Wild Bull had stayed behind. When the blood red pearl arrived, he never expected that a single blood red pearl wasn't enough to enhance his bloodline. He knew very well that as long as he had 1 more, he would definitely be able to cross that level and advance to a perfect body. However, this one was extremely precious. Yes, Lin Feng didn't keep him in suspense. He was simple and direct. Faintly smiling, Lin Feng turned to Wild Bull and took out a crimson blood bead. A crimson light flashed in his hand, causing Wild Bull's eyes to widen. A look of longing appeared on his face, and even his breathing quickened. To any martial artist who desired to surpass their limits, this was the highest level of treasure. Is it really only 660 billion Nemo dollars? Wild Bull looked nervously at Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled. Brother Bull was honest. Who will buy something like this? There was a 90% chance that he would be fleeced again. Yes, Lin Feng replied. In fact, he knew that if he sold it openly, the price would easily exceed 700 billion Nemo dollars. However, this was equivalent to exposing himself. It wasn't suitable for him to be in the limelight. As the saying goes, it's never too late for a gentleman to take revenge, but a villain takes revenge day and night. One show Baibu was enough. There was no need to attract a few more. All right. Wild Bull was afraid that Lin Feng would go back on his word, so he immediately took out Nemo dollars. The transaction was quickly completed. To Wild Bull, even though he had paid all the Nemo dollars he had earned over the past decade, it was worth it. The blood red pearl was truly a priceless treasure to him. "Thank you for your kindness." Wild Bull stared at Lin Feng and nodded vigorously. "Brother Lin Feng, if you need my help, feel free to ask. By the way, do you have a grudge against that brat Baibu? I, Old Ox, will help you vent your anger." He made a throat-slitting gesture, and the killing intent of the Wild Bull emerged. To Blood Killer, killing people was as easy as eating. "No need, Brother Ox." Lin Feng's heart warmed. Go back. Break through to the perfect body as soon as possible. Good. Wild Bull laughed heartily. Thank you for your words. Blood Mist Palace. This was the place where every blood killer received their mission. The 33 blood towers belonged to the 33 continents, and the missions of each continent were basically completed by the blood towers. It was called an exclusive mission. When the blood tower failed to complete the mission 3 times in a row, or the mission was still hanging in the Blood Mist Hall after 7 days, it would become a public mission. Every public mission was not simple. However, there are also some common missions that were not converted from exclusive missions. For example, you want to issue a purchase mission? A man with a hollow right eye and half of his face shriveled up asked. Yes, Uncle Juan. Lin Feng looked at the man in front of him. He was a 6-blood assassin who had been severely injured during a promotion mission. His strength was crippled. The path of a blood killer wasn't smooth. Uncle Juan was already very lucky to be able to live out his remaining years in the Blood Tower. Most blood killers died without an intact corpse. Those who kill were also killed. I want to purchase a large number of demon cores of super demon beasts and demon beasts of all types and grades. Lin Feng went straight to the point. Wan Lu's remaining left, I stared at Lin Feng. Price? 10% higher than the exchange counter. Lin Feng took out 1 trillion Nemo dollars and instantly piled them up like a mountain in the acquisition hall. Unlike accepting missions, issuing missions was completely confidential because this was a guarantee of benefits. All right, Wan Lu didn't say anything else. After all, he was experienced and knowledgeable. Although 1 trillion Nemo dollars was a lot, he had seen many things. However, Xiao Chun had seen even more. The price of a medial-grade heavenly holy weapon could exceed that. Then, I'll have to trouble you, Uncle Wan, Lin Feng said. The purchase was imperative. Furthermore, purchasing them at a higher exchange price was much cheaper than outside, especially the demon cores of the Blood Mist Forest demon beasts. They all contained blood mist energy, and Xiao Yun's absorption efficiency was the best. The purchase of giant demon beast emperor's demon cores in the newcomer's camp had stopped. After 40 days in the Blood Mist Forest, he had purchased 170 billion Nemo dollars worth of demon cores, which was enough for Xiao Yun to raise her strength from level 9 of the transformation stage to level 1 of the essence condensation stage. In fact, Lin Feng's own wealth was also not bad. In the Blood Mist Forbidden Land, he had countless pure blood Saint Pearls, pure Mist Saint Pearls, and pure Een Saint Pearls. Among them, the pure Een Saint Pearl was the most effective. The energy contained in a demon beast demon core was greatly increased at each level. The energy contained in a super demon beast demon core was more than 10 times that of a giant demon beast emperor. The energy of a demon beast demon core was more than 10 times that of a super demon beast's. Indeed, the purchase price of a demon beast demon core is 100 times lower than that of a giant demon beast emperor. But the energy contained in it is also more than 100 times. In terms of absorption efficiency, it is much cheaper than that of a giant demon beast emperor's demon core. Lin Feng himself had a lot of demon beast demon cores, and the number of super demon beast demon cores were countless. He had hunted too many in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. The absorption efficiency was naturally clear, especially after Xiao Yun's strength was promoted to the essence condensation stage. Her demon core corresponded to the demon beast demon core. The absorption of demon cores at the same level was perfect. The third level is the first level. From the first level to the fourth level of the essence condensation stage, the efficiency of demon beast demon core is about 500 billion to 1 trillion. But from a fourth level to the 7th level of the essence condensation stage, it needs more. And after the 7th level of the essence condensation stage, Lin Feng sighed, secretly. On the 6th floor of the Blood Tower, there is still 101 billion left. Lin Feng counted his savings. In a word, it came and went quickly. The 3-colored phantom sword sold for 300 billion Nemo coins, and the 2 blood-red beads sold for 330 billion and 660 billion respectively. Most of them were used to purchase demon cores to enhance Xiao Yun's strength. On the contrary, His equipment was terrible. However, in a sense, the improvement of Xiao Yun's strength was more helpful to him. Not to mention the extreme body, the Thunder Tribulation was the most important. The Thunder Tribulation was comparable to the heaven-level sacred fruit. The transformation of the body, the improvement of the Thunder Dragon Saint Qi, and the transformation of the Thunder Aptitude couldn't be measured with money. It was quite amazing, but the premise was that he had to resist the Thunder Tribulation of Xiao Yun's own strength. The Thunder Tribulation was about to arrive. Right now, Lin Feng was only suppressing little Yun's strength temporarily. Ready. If a worker wants to do his job well, he must first sharpen his tools. Let's start with it. Lin Feng took out the extreme Great Heaven Saint weapon, Black Lotus, and a strong dark aura suddenly shrouded the area. Aura Surge. Chapter 563. The Supreme Grade Heavenly Saint weapon, Black Skeleton. Ever since it appeared, the 9 Serenity Thunderblade had lost its use. As a top-tier Earth-grade blade, the 9 Serenity Thunderblade was actually quite good. Not only could it summon heavenly thunder, it also had 9 nether patterns. But to Lin Feng now, these 2 special abilities were not very useful. In terms of weapon quality alone, the 9 Serenity Thunderblade was worlds apart from Black Skeleton. Heavenly Saint Weapon. Lin Feng gently stroked the blade. The Heavenly Saint Weapon, Hei Tong, surged with a strong evil qi along with the flames of the demon clan. The blade seemed to be made from pieces of shattered crystals, making it look like a shattered battle blade. In fact, there was an invisible energy connection between each piece of crystal, just like Hei Tong's spine. Unlike the 9 Serenity Thunderblade, a Heavenly Saint weapon had to be compatible with blood to use. The existence of the weapon's soul allowed the Heavenly Saint weapon to reach a new level. It was connected to the owner's soul and could unleash even more power. Whoosh! Lin Feng's eyes flickered. A bright eye opened in the depths of his sea of consciousness. True sacred power. It could see through all illusions. Through the blade, he could see a strand of powerful energy fused into the blade. The shocking evil qi and powerful demon qi came from this strand of energy. Of course, it was not the weapon soul, because a weapon soul could not have such powerful soul power. Vengeful Spirit. The previous owner of the Heavenly Saint weapon Black Skeleton, the soul of the primordial heavenly demon of the Qiyu race. Lin Feng thought. An image appeared in his mind. Back then, the primordial heavenly demon of the Qiyu race fought with the heaven-devouring rising wolf monarch. In the end, he was defeated. Unwilling to die, he self-detonated and fused his soul into the Heaven Saint weapon, Black Lotus, hoping for a chance to live. If I use my blood to fuse with it, the vengeful spirit of the primordial heavenly demon will directly devour me and destroy my soul. Lin Feng knew very well, be it the demons or the Fae, once they reached the level of heaven, they were not much different from humans. That was another path to the heavens, with thousands of great Daos. It was not to say the humans were much stronger than demons and Yao. In terms of body, demons were much stronger than humans. Perhaps they were not as proficient in soul power, but that was for ordinary heavenly demons. Above ordinary heavenly demons were great heavenly demons, and above the great sky fiend level, it was the primordial heavenly devil. The primordial heavenly devil soul was 2 whole levels higher than ordinary Mo warriors. Naturally, the primordial heavenly devil soul was much stronger. However, after being heavily injured by the heaven-devouring rising wolf Thuarch and residing in the Black Skeleton without any energy replenishment, the power of the soul will slowly fade away. Right now, its soul power is probably only at the level of a great sky fiend. Lin Feng could see it clearly with his true, holy power. Even so, the great sky fiend was still much stronger than him. To be precise, the great sky fiend's level was still much higher than his. He was stronger than the vast majority of Mo experts. Heavenly Demon Emperor, good plan. Lin Feng smiled. When a pie fell from the sky, there would always be a trap waiting on the ground. If it were other martial artists who did not have the saint power of the true eyes, they would have mistaken the evil qi and the demon clan's aura as the power of the heavenly saint weapon, Heitong. The moment their blood merged with the weapon, they would have been killed by the vengeful spirit's backlash. Begin. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged. He placed the heaven saint weapon, Black Centipede, on his legs. Pa! Pa! He touched the blade with both hands, his eyes bright. Bang! The golden dragon soared into the sky. True dragon saint power. Lin Feng directly imbued the blade with the true dragon saint power, and Zizhou's true dragon saint power in the depths of his sea of consciousness showed a shocking power. It was the top beyond grade 1 saint power, and it was definitely at the level of Niemo. Go! Behind Lin Feng, a huge eye slowly opened. He controlled the true dragon saint power to attack the primordial heavenly demon's vengeful spirit. It was like a meteor crashing into a planet, but could be used. Bang! The saint power and soul power collided. Heitong shook violently, and evil chi spread out. Whoosh! Whoosh! It circled around Lin Feng and stopped in front of the saint power of the true eye. The evil chi was not enough to affect it. Bang! 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 Streaks of true dragon saint power were wasted by Lin Feng. The dragon sea pearl necklace kept flashing, replenishing the true dragon saint power. The primordial heavenly demon's spirit tried to resist at first, but it soon realized that something was wrong. It wanted to run, but it could not escape the saint power of the true eye. Boom! Boom! The more it ran, the more the spirit's energy was consumed. But it did not run. Instead, it waited for the golden dragon to descend again and again. It was like holding a hammer and hitting a huge rock. There would be a moment when it would shatter. Even without the dragon's sea pearl necklace, Lin Feng could still exhaust the primordial heavenly demon's spirit with the true dragon saint power. It would just take more time, at least 10 days to half a month. But now, the primordial heavenly demon spirit was in danger in just an hour. Whoosh! Whoosh! The spirit's energy was being consumed rapidly, causing the originally solid black energy to become extremely illusory. As it flashed, it became dimmer and dimmer like a light bulb. The anxious primordial heavenly demon's spirit seemed to want to compromise, but Lin Feng ignored it. The true dragon saint power continued to explode, destroying the primordial heavenly demon's spirit's last hope. Whoosh! The saint power of the true eye flashed. Lin Feng knew everything inside the heaven saint weapon, Heitong. At this point, the evil chi was almost exhausted. The heaven saint weapon, Heitong, no longer had the strong, demonic aura. Instead, it was replaced by a deep black light. The weapon's spirit had been suppressed. It's about time. Lin Feng stopped. The flashing dragon sea pearl necklace gradually calmed down. Lin Feng took a deep breath and looked at the primordial heavenly demon spirit, which had almost no energy left and was on the verge of death. He was not going to be merciful and let it live. He had other motives. To me, this is not only not a trap, but also a great benefit. Lin Feng had said this to Xiao Yun that day. Chi! A cold light flashed, and Lin Feng's blood dripped onto the blade. In an instant, the entire room was shrouded in darkness. The powerful aura merged with Lin Feng's body. The heaven saint weapon was showing its power. Chi! The primordial heavenly demon, evil spirit, used its last bit of energy to resist. However, it had less than 1/10,000th of its previous soul power, and it was extremely weak. Lin Feng's thoughts moved, and their souls touched, directly devouring the primordial heavenly demon, evil spirit. Chi! It was as if a knife had slashed its heart. Intense pain. It's still so powerful even with its remaining energy. Lin Feng sighed inwardly. The primordial heavenly demon spirit was terrifying when it was at its peak. However, there was no logic to it. After devouring the primordial heavenly demon spirit and merging with the heaven saint weapon Heitong, Lin Feng entered a state of cultivation. This was just the beginning. An endless stream of information was copied from the primordial heavenly demon's spirit into his mind. The contact between souls was the most direct way to sense. The Chiyu clan is rumored to be the most proficient in using the saber among the demons. Back then, The great heavenly demon Chiyu of Earth was invincible with the Heaven Saint Weapon Tiger Soul. It was not only due to the Heaven Saint Weapon, but also saber techniques. Chapter 564. The Saber Skills of the Demon Race. The profound intent of the demon race. The Tao of Strength was universal. Lin Feng knew how strong the primordial heavenly devil was. Like humans, the demon race had two paths of cultivation. One was the sacred power cultivator, like Left Purple Eye, who was born with purple eyes. She had the excellent bloodline of the purple eye demon race and had cultivated the true eye sacred power to perfection. The other path was the Tao of Strength, the Tao of pure strength. The demon race was known for their strong physique. They were much stronger than humans. Therefore, the demon race was best at the Tao of Strength. They used their advantages in close combat and derived all kinds of strength techniques. As the name suggested, they were techniques of strength. It's actually derived from the Tao of martial techniques. Lin Feng absorbed all the information of the primordial heavenly devil's soul. He was the top expert of a younger generation of the Chiyu race, Qiyang. He had reached the level of the primordial heavenly devil at such a young age. He was one of the best in the Chiyu race. Too strong. Lin Feng sighed deeply. In his memory, the battle between the primordial heavenly devil Qiyang and Wu Luan was an eye-opener. The top level of power in the Nirvana world. Lin Feng sighed, splitting the sky and splitting the earth, breaking the sea and shattering the mountain. Their level of power was far beyond his reach. Qiyang was strong, but Wu Luan was even stronger. In the end, he was no match for Wu Luan and was killed by Wu Luan. He left a chance for survival. Unfortunately, he couldn't escape his fate. Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. If he hadn't met Qiyang, Qiyang might have had a chance to counterattack. However, he would have had a greater chance of exhausting his soul power under the giant wheel of time. After all, Wu Luan didn't have good intentions when he gave Black Skeleton to him. He knew of Qi Yang's existence. Primordial heavenly devil Qi Yang's memory. It was huge, and what he had seen and heard was amazing. From birth to becoming a primordial heavenly devil, he had been in the Nirvana world. It was rare to have a chance to devour a soul directly. Unless one had a similar soul technique, it was impossible to have such a chance. Because it was too dangerous. The soul itself was very weak. As expected, he has also cultivated several profound meanings of darkness. Lin Feng pondered as he copied all of Qi Wan's profound meanings in his mind, as if he was reading a book. There were 7 elementary profound meanings, 3 middle profound meanings, and 1 high profound meaning. As for ordinary profound meanings, there were too many of them. The devil race was born with a bloodline of darkness. Every devil race member had an extraordinary aptitude for darkness. While cultivating the Tao of Strength, many experts of the demon clan would cultivate some dark Upanishad to complement their strength skills, bringing out the best of each other. In terms of profound meanings and cultivation, the demon clan is far inferior to the humans. Lin Feng was very clear. Compared to the demons, humans were not as strong, but their comprehension was higher. Because they were smarter, it was easier for them to comprehend Upanishads than the experts of the demon clan. Easier. If it were a human expert of the same level, they would have at least several high-level profound meanings, or even more powerful peak profound meanings. Profound meaning of darkness. 800 whirling ghosts. Lin Feng was moved. Mid-level profound meaning. It was an area of effect attack that was similar to the usage of a whirlpool. The comprehension was incomparably clear. So simple. Lin Feng inexplicably had this thought. This mid-level profound meaning was even simpler than the 7 elementary profound meanings. Deeply imprinted in his mind, Lin Feng's lips curved slightly. He was very satisfied with the harvest of the profound meaning of darkness. But this was only a small part of it. The Chiyu clan, one of the 4 ancient demon clans, they're the best at using the blade. Blade arts so profound. Lin Feng was extremely shocked. The dazzling array of blade arts, from shallow to deep, were almost no weaker than the 7 purple thunder strikes. The blade arts of the Nirvana world, The strongest blade arts of the Chi clan were like a door that had opened to the peak of blade arts of the Nirvana world. Compared to the profound meanings, this was a true treasure. The primordial sky devil Chi, Yin, was definitely a saber expert. He had mastered 7 sets of saber arts, each of which had been upgraded to a higher level. Different from a human race, the saber arts of the demon clan were pure saber arts, without any profound meanings. They were saber arts that combined the essence of saber arts and the advantages of the demon clan. Absolute power. With my current realm of blade arts, it should be suitable for me to practice the Chi clan's 7 limits. Breaking the sea, landslide, storm, hailstorm, raging fire, destroying the earth, swallowing the sky. The 7 limits were very difficult. The combination of strength and skill displayed the essence of the blade. Even though it didn't contain any profundities, the blade technique itself was already perfect and flawless. This was a top-grade blade technique that had truly gone through countless years of experience, and it was absolutely at the top in the Nirvana world. The ancestors of the Chi clan had constantly practiced, evolved, and changed it. Only then did the 7 limits return to the original. Flawless. It contained the true essence of blade arts. There is no profound meaning in it. Pure blade arts have very high requirements for the realm of blade arts. Believe me, it will take a long time to practice the 7 limits, but it is worth it. Lin Feng was determined. Instead of wasting time comprehending the ordinary ones, it was better to directly comprehend the good ones. Although the 7 limits were difficult, he would definitely gain a lot in the process of comprehending them, especially the improvement of the realm of blade arts. His weakest link at present. Blood Fogland. What? Mad Bull has become a perfect body. How is that possible? I saw him after the Blood Red Sea ended. He was unhappy. He was clearly not a perfect body back then. There was a flurry of discussion. There were no secrets in such a large place like the Blood Fogland. Perfect bodies and imperfect bodies could be easily sensed. Mad Bull was quite famous in the Blood Foglands. After all, he was the nominal boss of Blood Tower 30. He was known for being protective of his own people. When he went crazy, he didn't care about anyone. It was no wonder that everyone was surprised. After all, it had been a month and a half since the Blood Red Sea ended. Those who should have broken through had long broken through. Those who could not break through, like Mad Bull, who had already passed the age of 30, there was no miracle at all. Unless, Blood Red Pearl. There is still someone hiding the Blood Red Pearl. Lin Feng. He immediately became a suspect. Although they could not be sure, Lin Feng was quite suspicious. Not long after he appeared, he joined Blood Tower 30 and was close to Mad Bull. Naturally, he became the #1 target. Many blood killers like Mad Bull had their hearts rekindled. As long as there was a glimmer of hope, they had to fight for it. It's Lin Feng. Yes, someone saw him trade with Mad Bull with their own eyes. I heard that he has a total of 3 blood red pearls. He still has 2 left. There was no smoke without fire. Rumors about Lin Feng quickly spread. In Blood Tower 1, Qiu Baibu looked into the distance. His cold eyes emitted a cold, killing intent. This was what he was best at. Lin Feng, do you think you will be fine with the protection of Mad Bull and Blood Shadow? You are still too inexperienced to fight me. This time, I want to see how you die. Monthly votes, monthly votes. Although Xiao Xiao doesn't ask for them, brothers, please give me some as a base. This is too tragic. Chapter 565. Black Haze. Lin Feng waved his Heaven Saint weapon, Black Centipede. Every time he swung the blade, it would emit a strong black nightmare haze, which was mixed with coldness and fear. It unknowingly changed the environment and unconsciously emitted it. The fine black crystals on the black nightmare blade scattered, and the black nightmare haze became denser. It's useful in both single and group battles. Lin Feng waved his Black Centipede rapidly. The Black Haze's effect is not bad. It can destroy the enemy's defense and seep into the body unknowingly. It's effective against enemies who aren't strong enough. As the battle drags on, the Black Haze's effect will become better. It can even block the enemy's vision and aura. The dark aura around Lin Feng's body suddenly erupted. With himself as the origin, the terrifying centrifugal force caused the surrounding earth to tremble violently. It was as if numerous dark dragons had seeped into the earth beneath his feet, spreading out in all directions. The earth undulated and fluctuated as the dark aura of the tornado instantly spread out. A huge vortex blasted out from the outermost layer to the sky. Bang! 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 The strong centrifugal force wanted to shatter the entire space. Mid-level profound meaning. 800 whirlpool, ghost whirlpool. Lin Feng waved his saber nonstop. Even a black haze shook violently. The two whirlpools, one inside and one outside, formed an incomparable tacit understanding. The black haze whirlpools were very effective in assisting the attack. The ground shook continuously. Lin Feng's black centipede shook violently. The first move of the seven limits, breaking the sea. Lin Feng's saber showed his absolute power. However, it still lacked a bit of essence. The seven limits are indeed difficult. Lin Feng sheathed his saber. During the 7 days of seclusion, he spent 6 days studying his saber art. Until now, he had barely grasped the embryonic form of the first move, breaking the sea. And this was with his teacher. The image of the primordial heavenly devil Qi Yin appeared in his mind. When he fought with the enemy, the essence of the breaking the sea saber art was revealed. It's not that I'm not smart enough. It's mainly my saber art realm is not enough. Lin Feng knew his shortcomings. It was like his eyes were fast enough to see the enemy's moves, but his body didn't listen to his commands. His saber art realm was not enough, so it was extremely difficult for him to cultivate the seven limits. Saber art, 10th realm completion. After breaking through to the 10th level in the Blood Fog Forest, his cultivation stagnated after encountering the Crimson Blood Saber technique. If you want to fully comprehend the first style of the seven limits, sea cleaving, you have to do it. I'll probably need to reach the 11th realm. Lin Feng had a very clear understanding of the seven limits. After all, he had a ready-made teacher in his mind. The primordial heavenly devil Qi Yan's saber cultivation was rather terrifying. It wasn't that he didn't gain anything. In just 6 days, his saber technique had improved from level 10 small accomplishment to great accomplishment. Every time he used the sea cleaving technique, he gained the most direct understanding of the essence and true meaning of the saber. Lin Feng was not in a hurry. Although he could not improve his saber art for the time being, his comprehension of the profound meaning of darkness and the power of his heavenly saint weapon, Black Scorpion, had allowed his strength to take a big step forward. The power of the heavenly saint weapon, Hei Tung, can complement the profound meaning of darkness. The same goes for the second ability, Nightmare Dragon. It's just that the Nightmare Dragon is different from the Black Haze. The Nightmare Dragon is an absolute strengthening and explosive power. It's completely incompatible with the Nightmare Dragon's 800 Nightmare Ghost Spirals. It's quite compatible with another mid-grade profound meaning, but Lin Feng hesitated for a moment before rejecting it. It was very difficult to comprehend a mid-grade profound meaning. Combining a mid-grade profound meaning with the power of a heavenly saint weapon was only slightly less difficult than combining saber arts. But it was also not easy. Vortex profound meaning. I'll find a vortex profound meaning similar to the 800 Ghost Whirlpool. Lin Feng quickly made a decision. He could always easily comprehend the profound meaning of the vortex. Although he did not comprehend the mid-grade profound meaning of the 800 Ghost Whirlpool immediately, he grasped the trick after using it 3 times. He could perfectly use it in less than half an hour. Even if it was combined with the power of the heavenly saint weapon, Black Haze, it only took him a day. The vortex was terrifyingly powerful. Cultivate, support, extremely powerful bloodline, and defense. Bloodfog Palace, Exchange Hall. Unlike the hall where purchasing missions were issued, the Exchange Hall was obviously much larger and more spacious. After all, it was one of the facades of the Blood Tower. The blood-killing points and the circulation of Nemo coins were all here. The people in charge of the Exchange Hall were 3 retired 7 blood assassins and 1 8 blood assassin. There were 3 supervisors and 1 head supervisor. Being in the Blood Tower, Lin Feng naturally knew everything about the Blood Fog Palace. "Hello, Supervisor He," Lin Feng said respectfully. The man with white sideburns in front of him was one of the 3 supervisors. "He who's Supervisor He." "Number 30 Blood Tower." He who glanced at Lin Feng's armor and squinted his eyes. "You are the newcomer, Lin Feng. You have good eyes, Supervisor." Lin Feng smiled. He was indeed an experienced 7-blood assassin. He got straight to the point. "I wonder if you can help me choose some books about Upanishads?" Lin Feng smiled and made a quick deduction. There were all kinds of books related to profound meaning, and it was quite complicated. Although the exchange hall had a clear listing, it was hard to deduce just from the words. For example, the 800 Ghost Whirlpool was quite clear, but the vortex was only a part of many profound meanings. Furthermore, there were too many books. Just the Dark Element books alone had more than 10,000 books on profound meaning, and many of them were repeated. For example, the 800 Ghost Whirlpool could be used to describe the execution of the profound meaning from the shallow to the deep. It could also be used like a blade skill, and some could even be described with just a few words. It was different for the supervisors of the exchange hall. They had their own specializations, just like the librarians on Earth. Which book was in which position, the experienced librarians would know by asking. "Sure." He was quite polite to Lin Feng. "What type do you want?" Lin Feng said directly, "Light, dark, and lightning elements. All profound meanings with vortexes, the higher the better." "Vortexes?" He who said softly, glancing at Lin Feng thoughtfully. He did not pay too much attention to it and nodded. "Please wait a moment." Immediately, he who turned and entered the side door to choose a book that matched his needs. It was normal to have requests. Some warriors specialized in offensive profound meanings, some specialized in defensive profound meanings, and some specialized in formations. But when it came to vortexes, it was still a little strange. But to the supervisor of the exchange hall who had been managing it for decades, it was a piece of cake. Soon, they are all here. He who placed 5 books on the table. 4 middle-grade profound meanings, and 1 high-grade profound meaning. He who looked at Lin Feng. However, this high-grade profound meaning, vortex change, does not have a detailed description, and the price is not cheap. You need to consider it yourself. Pausing, he who added, "The highest grade book in the exchange hall is the high-grade profound meaning. Except for a few, most of the high-grade profound meanings are very general and do not have a detailed description. Your luck is not bad. You just happen to have a vortex-type high-grade profound meaning of light." Vortex change. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He then looked at the other 4 middle-grade profound meanings. To him, these were all treasures that could directly increase his battle strength, because he could quickly grasp them. Chapter 566. Big Dipper Demon Thunder Formation. Intermediate Thunder Profound Meaning. Crimson Cloud Thunder Manual. Intermediate Thunder Profound Meaning. Iming Sutra. Intermediate Dark Profound Meaning. White Phoenix Universe Dazzle. Intermediate Light Profound Meaning. Vortex Change. Advanced Light Profound Meaning. 4 middle-grade manuals and 1 high-grade manual. Good for both offense and defense. Lin Feng quickly flipped through them. Each book moved his heart and made his blood boil. With intermediate profound meaning, there was no need to cultivate elementary profound meaning. Just like saber arts, advanced saber arts were far more powerful than ordinary saber arts. Rather than mixing and not being proficient, it was better to specialize in one. Being able to master these 5 profound meanings was enough. After entering the Nirvana realm, ordinary profound meanings and elementary profound meanings were basically useless. In his mind, he remembered all the battles of the primordial heavenly devil Qi Yin. When he had just stepped into the heavenly devil realm, he could still use the elementary profound meaning. However, after reaching the primordial heavenly devil realm, he could only use 3 intermediate profound meanings and 1 advanced profound meaning. As for ordinary profound meanings, they were more for reference. After all, many intermediate profound meanings and advanced profound meanings evolved from ordinary profound meanings. "I'll take them all." Lin Feng closed the last book, Whirlpool Change. Just as supervisor he had said, it was very general. The entire book only had a few dozen words, as if he was reciting poetry. There were 7 strange drawings, but he did not feel anything at first. But he believed that supervisor he wouldn't lie to him. He who looked at Lin Feng and said, Big Dipper Demon Thunder Array 2. 5 million blood kill points. Red Cloud Thunder True Book 2. 1 million blood kill points. Iming Sutra 3. 3 million blood kill points. White Phoenix Universe Dazzling 1. 6 million blood kill points. Vortex Change 40 million blood kill points. The total is 49. 5 million blood kill points. If you pay in Nemo currency, it's 49. 5 billion Nemo currency. Nemo currency could be exchanged for blood kill points. But not everyone was as rich as Lin Feng. Most blood killers relied on missions to earn blood kill points, and there was a limit to how many Nemo currency they could exchange for. 49. 5 billion Nemo currency. Lin Feng sneered. 40 billion Nemo currency was the advanced profound meaning vortex change. No wonder supervisor he specifically warned him. But so cheap. Lin Feng exclaimed. A mid-level profound meaning manual was sold for around 5 billion to 50 billion Nemo dollars. The moon-devouring blue flame painting had been auctioned off for a high price of 10 billion Nemo dollars. But in Xuelo, for intermediate profound meanings only cost 5 billion Nemo coins. The price of a secret manual is only 10% of the price outside. There are also high-grade profound intents that you can't buy even if you have money in the 33 continents. Even if it's 400 billion, there will still be people fighting over it. In the 33 continents, it's already quite amazing for a Zizhou expert to be able to display a mid-level profound meaning. The Blood Tower was not stingy when it came to the Heart Sutra classics. This was because they were doing business without any capital. 10 out of 10 ancient books had unknown origins. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. All eyes were on Lin Feng. A single bid of 49. 5 billion Nemo coins was naturally not bad. After all, a 6-blood mission started at 1 billion Nemo coins. With an average of 10 missions per year, it was already good enough for a 6-blood assassin to earn 25 billion Nemo coins. Of course, there were those who earned more than 100 billion Nemo coins a year. But missions were risky, and cultivation took up more than 80% of the time. 49. 5 billion Nemo coins was almost 2 years of commission for a 6-blood assassin. This guy is really rich. He's Lin Feng, the 300 billion newcomer. You don't even know him. Stupid. He's more than 300 billion newcomers. Plus the blood beads he sold to Mad Bull. He should be a trillion newcomers. In the conversation, most of them were jealous. Lin Feng had risen too quickly, and he had yet to show his strength. Therefore, even though he had created a new record for becoming a 6-blood assassin, it was still difficult to convince the masses. However, most of the 6-blood assassins were just jealous because the 6-blood assassins were already strong in the Blood Tower. In the 33 continents, they were comparable to a Zizhou expert and could do whatever they wanted. If Lin Feng had been a 6-blood assassin, Qiu Baibu wouldn't have dared to attack him. Moreover, number 30 Blood Tower Mad Bull was well known. Everyone knew that he was a lunatic who didn't recognize anyone when he went crazy. He even dared to fight an 8-blood assassin. A trillion newcomers? Lin Feng was surprised when he heard the voices around him. He had kept a low profile because he didn't want to expose himself. He didn't expect the news to spread so quickly. After careful analysis, Lin Feng quickly understood that Brother Bull's identity was too eye-catching. It was reasonable to suspect him, but it didn't matter. Even without Brother Bull's incident, his name as a trillion newcomer would be confirmed sooner or later. Manager would you like to buy the Pure Blood Saint Beads and Pure Mist Saint Beads? Lin Feng asked. After spending 49. 5 billion Nemo coins, he had 51. 5 billion Nemo coins left. If he didn't have any special needs, it would be enough. However, he didn't come to the exchange office for the profound meaning classics. Transformation, Thunder Tribulation. Unknown Transformation, Thunder Tribulation. That day, the Transformation Thunder Tribulation had caught him off guard. This time, he naturally had to be fully prepared for the Transformation Thunder Tribulation. The demand for combat boots wasn't very high because he couldn't dodge or run away from the lightning tribulation. However, he couldn't lack armor and defensive treasures that could save his life at a critical moment. Heaven Grade Saint Treasure. Low-grade Heaven Grade Saint Treasures started at 50 billion. Mid-grade Heaven Grade Saint Treasures started at 200 billion. As for high-grade Heaven Grade Saint Treasures, they couldn't be bought in the 33 continents even if you had money. Yes. He who nodded. Blood kill points or Nemo coins? Different? Lin Feng asked. He who replied, blood kill points are the full amount. Nemo coins need to be paid 20%. Simply put, 80%. Lin Feng nodded. Blood kill points. For the time being, there were still many places where he could use blood kill points. He who nodded. 1,000 blood kill points each. How many do you want to sell? Compared to other treasures, the pure Blood Saint Pearl and the pure Miss Saint Pearl were cheap. 1,000 blood kill points was equivalent to 1 million Nemo coins. After the blood assassins who participated in the Blood Red River returned, there were hundreds and thousands of them. The most were Hu Kaishan and Li Shuifeng's 7 blood assassins. The two of them exchanged a total of 4,765 pure Blood Saint Pearls for 1,812 pure Miss Saint Pearls and 98 pure Yin Saint Pearls. However, Lin Feng's voice sounded, but he who didn't change his expression was startled. About 1 million. Lin Feng paused for a moment before speaking. In an instant, the huge exchange hall was silent. All the blood assassins were stunned. It was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard. 1 million? Did they hear wrong? Chapter 567. Did he say 1 million or 100? He should have said 10,000 more. How could there be 1 million? It's impossible. All the pure Blood Saint Pearls and pure Miss Saint Pearls in the Blood Red Forest are estimated to be more than 100,000. 1 million, he must be dreaming. Don't say 1 million. If he can take out 100,000, I will cut off my head and let him sit on it. Everyone sneered. Indeed, maybe some people would believe it if it was 10,000, but 1 million? Not to mention the blood assassins. Even he who and the other 2 managers didn't believe it. He who frowned as he looked at Lin Feng in confusion. He couldn't understand what Lin Feng meant. But it was 1 million. Voila! Voila! A large pile of pure Blood Saint Pearls and pure Miss Saint Pearls were poured out directly. Lin Feng plundered like this in the Blood Red Forest that day. The Blood Red Forest came from the Blood Red Forest, and the blood fog was far thicker than the Blood Red Forest. In terms of the number of pure Blood Saint Pearls and pure Miss Saint Pearls, it was 10 times more. Although a small part was swallowed by monsters, he still collected more than 1 million. Quiet, quiet, a deathly silence. Only the sound of clattering was heard, and time seemed to be frozen. The appearance of the pure Blood Saint Pearls and pure Miss Saint Pearls shattered all the doubts in the most direct way. There was no adulteration, and each was a real Saint Pearl. For Lin Feng, these 2 Saint Pearls were useless if he didn't cultivate Blood Saint Chi and Miss Saint Chi. He would sell what he should sell. After all, he needed money now. Compared to pure Yin Saint Pearl, Blood Red Pearl, pure Blood Saint Pearl, and pure Miss Saint Pearl were much inferior. 1 million was 1 billion Nemo dollars and 1 billion blood kill points. Then I'll have to trouble Supervisor He to count them. Lin Feng quickly poured out all the inventory and walked to the side. He took the exchange catalog of the heavenly treasures in the exchange hall and looked at it carefully. 1 million? It would take quite a long time just to count. Voila! A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples. The appearance of 1 million pure Blood Saint Pearls and pure Miss Saint Pearls shocked all the blood kill points in the exchange hall. It was terrifying. Just the mountainous pile alone was enough to make people dizzy. Every single one of them was a genuine Saint Orb, and each one was worth 1 million Nemer coins. Right now, it looked like a pile of trash. The blood assassins looked at Lin Feng as if they were looking at a monster. They were shocked and puzzled. Where did so many Saint Pearls come from? Lin Feng naturally wouldn't explain, nor did he need to. Actually, it didn't matter even if the forbidden Blood Mist ground were discovered. Besides the Blood Mist Gorge where the heavenly demon emperor's shaman will resided, The forbidden blood mist grounds didn't have any secrets to speak of. The crimson blood had ended long ago, and the next crimson blood at that time, he didn't even know where he was. Defense type. Lin Feng quickly found the defensive heaven-ranked treasures, which were also divided in detail. The first one is the most important. Armors and sacred treasures will do as well. As for mid-grade heaven tier sacred treasures, lightning-type sacred treasures will be preferred. He resisted the attack of the tribulation thunder. Thunder-type sacred treasures had an advantage. Moreover, Lin Feng also majored in Thunder Dragon Holy Qi, which complemented each other. It wasn't difficult to find. After all, there weren't many mid-grade heaven tier sacred treasures, and they were lightning type. Good at offense, but not defense. Lin Feng also smiled bitterly because there was only one item on the list that met his requirements. It was all alone. Muddy Sky Thunder Armor, 600 million blood kill points. Lin Feng looked at the armor that emitted thunder and lightning in the picture and nodded. It seemed that the defensive power was quite good. With the starting price of mid-grade heaven-tier sacred treasures at 200 million blood kill points, 600 million blood kill points was in line. After all, armors were relatively cheap among sacred treasures. Compared to the cheapness of secret manuals, heaven-tier treasures didn't have any discounts. Lin Feng continued to look. Muddy Sky Thunder Armor, integrated with the Thunder Array, can directly reflect 20% of the enemy's attack. Driven by first-grade Thunder Holy Qi, it can also release the Muddy Sky Line Thunder in the armor, combining attack and defense. It was very good. Lin Feng looked at it carefully several times and fell in a deep thought. In terms of combat power alone, this set of Muddy Sky Thunder Armor was worth the money. It was much better than A.O. Lin's low-grade Heaven Tier armor, especially the attack reflection ability that could make the opponent suffer a hidden loss. The Muddy Sky Line Thunder in the armor was a first-grade Holy Qi. There were probably very few armors of the same level that were stronger than it. But what he wanted now was pure defense. It seems that there is no other choice. Lin Feng was also helpless. The transformation Thunder Tribulation was imminent. Choosing a light type or dark type mid-grade heaven tier sacred treasure. Although it was better than the Muddy Sky Thunder armor in terms of defense, it was absolutely inferior in terms of resisting the Tribulation Thunder. Buy it? Lin Feng was a little hesitant in his heart. The Muddy Sky Thunder armor wasn't the defensive sacred treasure he wanted. Moreover, 600 million blood kill points had been consumed, and he only had 400 million blood kill points left, which was equivalent to 400 billion Nemo dollars. If he wanted to buy other sacred treasures, he would undoubtedly be stretched. If it wasn't necessary, he didn't want to sell the blood red beads. Selling one meant one less. No hurry. Lin Feng glanced not far away. Supervisor He and the other two supervisors were carefully counting 1 million pure blood saint beads and pure mist saint beads. Even the chief steward Huang Luan had appeared. It was about the exchange of 1 billion Nemo dollars, so there was no room for carelessness. Well, let's take a look at the low-grade heaven tier thunder type defensive sacred treasure. Lin Feng was unwilling to let go of any opportunity. The price of a low-grade heaven tier sacred treasure was between 50 million blood kill points and 500 million blood kill points. Compared to the mid-grade heaven tier sacred treasure, the number of low-grade heaven tier sacred treasures was several times more. There were a total of 5 thunder-type defensive sacred treasures. However, Lin Feng only saw the last one, which was the most expensive low-grade heaven tier thunder-type sacred treasure, and his eyes were firmly locked. Thunder Kue Pot, 500 million blood kill points. Oh, Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. He had searched for it thousands of times, and when he looked back, it was just a glimpse. There was no need to hesitate. The moment he saw it, he knew that this was what he wanted. The effect of the Thunder Kue Pot was even more than 10 times stronger than what he had expected to buy before he came. For him, it was far more than a low-grade heaven tier sacred treasure. Its function, it was comparable to a high-grade heaven tier sacred treasure. 103. 3 billion blood kill points. After 2 consecutive calculations, the chief steward Huang Luan finally nodded in satisfaction and completed the transaction. Lin Feng did not waste any of his blood kill points. With 103 billion blood kill points, he bought a Heaven-tier low-grade sacred treasure. The Heaven-tier low-grade sacred treasure. The Heaven-tier low-grade sacred treasure. The Heaven-tier low-grade sacred armor. The Heaven-tier low-grade sacred treasure. 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 The Heaven-tier low-grade sacred. The rest of the blood kill points were exchanged for Nemo dollars, and the exchange was completed. Under the envious, jealous, and shocked gazes of the blood killers, Lin Feng left. Everything was ready. He was floating in the sky. Chapter 568. In the decision-making center of the Blood Mist Palace, 5 people were sitting on a huge pentagonal black crystal table. A long-bearded old man, a skinny man, a strong man with a bear-like body, a beautiful woman in red with black hair, and a cold-looking swordsman. Each of them had a powerful aura, which was stronger than a 9-blood assassin. The 5 palace masters of the Blood Tower were also known as the 5 Giants. They were not only the strongest forces of the Blood Tower, but also the decision-makers of the Blood Tower. They voted on all major matters of the Blood Tower, including the selection of talents. What do you think of the new 6-blood assassin, Lin Feng? The long-bearded old man, Lord Ba, asked in a hoarse voice. 1-year-old, perfect body, fetus Friday. The swordsman, Yun Xing, opened his eyes with a cold expression. Bloodline unknown. I guess it's a body-type bloodline similar to the extremine body. He was at Fetus Wednesday when he was promoted. His cultivation speed is top-notch. Swordsman Yun Xing's words were very close to Lin Feng's. What's his aptitude and combat strength? The skinny man, Bone King, asked. Yun Xing said coldly, I haven't seen him fight. Bone King moved his bony arm and said in a deep voice, I haven't seen him fight. He hasn't carried out a mission since he was promoted. Isn't it too early to decide on his 9-blood treatment? Yun Xing crossed his arms and said coldly, he's not a fish in a pond. Bone King snorted. The Blood Tower has been standing for so long because of facts, not speculation. Don't say more. It's not too late to decide after the assessment of combat strength and the completion of the mission are clear. Then, Bone King raised the red side of the decision token in front of him. Rejected. Yun Xing raised the black side of the decision token, which meant approval. As long as one of the palace masters proposed a decision, the other palace masters had to participate. They couldn't refuse and had to express their opinions. It was a fair and open system with 3 votes. As long as the decision was made, the palace master who proposed it would directly implement it. The palace masters who opposed it couldn't interfere. At present, 1 vote was against 1 vote. The key was in the hands of the remaining 3 palace masters. They looked at each other and fell into deep thought. Soon. It's still early. It's not too late to enter the 9-blood soul refining road after 1 week. Lord Ba raised the red side. This little fellow is not bad. I like it. You and Manzi can make a pair. The red-clothed girl, Hong Ying, laughed like a silver bell and raised the black side. 2 votes against 2. You guys are making things difficult for me again. Black Bear scratched his head and hesitated for a long time before raising the red side. Proposal failed. Blood Tower 30. 9-blood treatment. Lin Feng sneered. Yes. Warhawk said, any blood assassin with outstanding aptitude and potential will be proposed 3 training plans. The first is 7 blood, the second is 8 blood, and the third is the highest 9 blood. Lin Feng nodded. He did not say anything and continued to listen. Among them, Zhou Xue is treated the best. The blood assassin who passed the decision would receive the best special training from the Blood Tower to improve his strength. There is a 1/3 chance of becoming a 9-blood assassin and 1/3 chance of becoming an 8-blood assassin. Warhawk said, what about the other third? Will you become a 7-blood assassin? Lin Feng asked curiously. Warhawk shook his head. No, the rest are dead. Lin Feng laughed involuntarily. He had forgotten that this was the Blood Tower. Carrying out a mission was a narrow escape. How could there be no danger at all if the treatment seemed safe? In other sects, the death rate of 1/3 was quite high. But in the Blood Tower, the death rate of 1/3 was actually very low. Brothering, have you been proposed? Lin Feng asked. Warhawk shook his head. I am as average as Brother Niel. I am not even qualified to receive the 7 blood treatment. Although I'm a perfect body, I am nearly 40 years old and still only at the 7th rank of Zizhou. If I can get the 7 blood treatment, I will at least be at the 9th rank of Zizhou. Sister Ning did not get it either, but Qianren got the 7 blood treatment. The most powerful one is Blood Shadow. He got the 9 blood treatment. The highest waiting treatment. Lin Feng nodded lightly. In fact, he had guessed it. Currently, there are 3 9 blood assassins, Ronghua, Shimanzi, and Tuobiyu, who have all received the 9 blood treatment. When they enter the Nirvana world in the future, they will become elites of the Blood Tower and be nurtured as core members. Warhawk looked at Lin Feng. With your talent, offing, I can confidently say that it is only a matter of time before you are recommended to receive the 9 blood treatment. After spending some time together, Warhawk and Lin Feng became much closer. On the 6th floor of the Blood Tower, there were 4 6 blood assassins. Qianren had a strange temper and was difficult to get along with. Goran was in seclusion and was nowhere to be seen. Only Warhawk was open-minded. In his words, his talent was not good, so he could only make up for it with combat strength. Carrying out more missions could not only temper one's combat strength, but also obtain a lot of blood kill points to buy heaven-grade holy treasures, heart sutras, profound intents, pills, and so on. He was congenitally deficient, but he had to work hard. I hope so. Lin Feng smiled. Seclusion, cultivation. Lin Feng was rather busy. He needed to cultivate the 5 vortexes, familiarize himself with the 3 heaven-grade, low-grade holy treasures, sharpen his saber techniques, and improve his strength. Even if he had 3 heads and 6 arms, it was not enough. Lin Feng raced against time and constantly improved his strength. On the other side, led by Meng Xiao, Qiandao Yufeng, and Li Shuifeng, many other 7 blood assassins who had participated in the Blood Red trial were waiting anxiously. Most of them had passed the age of 30. The next Blood Red trial was far away. It could be said that Lin Feng had become their last hope. Qiu Baibu knew how to manipulate people's hearts. Even if everyone knew that it might be a rumor and that the possibility of Lin Feng having the Blood Red Pearl was not high, but as long as there was a glimmer of hope, it was still hope. However, they were all rejected. Lin Feng directly rejected them, but they did not give up. Lin Feng had no choice but to go into seclusion and leave them hanging, hoping that this matter would fade away after a long time. However, Qiu Baibu, who was in the dark, did not let go of this opportunity easily. Have you heard? Lin Feng exchanged a total of 1 million pure blood saint pearls and pure mist saint pearls. Oh my God, where did he get so many saint pearls? Did he dig up the treasures in the blood mist forest? Is the news reliable? Is it true? Why would I lie to you? Many people in the exchange office saw it that day. It is said that Lin Feng accidentally broke into an extremely hidden array. There are so many pure blood saint pearls and pure mist saint pearls. Guess, how many blood red pearls does he have? Rumors were the most terrifying. Qiu Baibu tried his best and was hit by a stroke of luck. In fact, whether Lin Feng had it or not, it made no difference whether he exchanged for pure blood saint pearls or pure mist saint pearls. If you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. When people were tempted, greed would emerge, and many things, naturally, it was formed. Chapter 569. Half a month later. Sea cleaving. Landslide. Lin Feng waved black skeleton, and a thick black haze enveloped the area. The fine black crystals were arranged in a scattered manner, and the power of a supreme-grade heavenly saint weapon was fully displayed. However, although Lin Feng's saber had improved a lot compared to half a month ago, his saber moves were still the same. His saber shape and saber intent were perfect, and his saber was domineering and violent. He had the demeanor of a Chiyu demon, but he still lacked the essence of the saber. 10th realm, peak. It's very difficult to break through to the 11th realm. Lin Feng put away his saber and sighed softly. Since practicing the 7 limits, his saber technique had improved greatly. He had broken through from the 10th realm to the peak, but it was not easy to break through the shackles of the next realm. He had long since understood the essence of the first style of the 7 limits, sea cleaving, like the back of his hand. He only lacked the feeling of the blade. The second move, landslide, had a higher requirement of saber technique than sea cleaving. 5 vortex mysteries. Other than vortex change, I've mastered the rest perfectly. Dark Devil Holy Chi has reached the 7th level. Lin Feng felt the surging dark aura in his hand, and he could use the supreme grade Heavenly Saint weapon more easily. At the same time, he cultivated the Thunder Dragon Holy Chi. Although the Thunder Dragon scripture was far superior to the ominous Dark Devil art, the Thunder Dragon Holy Chi was a first-grade Holy Chi after all. It needed to absorb much more energy than a first-grade Holy Chi. Most importantly, aptitude. A perfect body's ability to sense heaven and earth energy had increased tenfold. It allowed his light and darkness talents to reach an astonishing and exaggerated level. They had also increased by 10 times. His lightning talent was much more ordinary. Although he had experienced the first lightning tribulation, he had barely caught up to his darkness talent before advancing to a perfect body. However, the Thunder Dragon Holy Chi is not far from the 7th level. Lin Feng's eyes glowed. To him, the most important part of the Thunder Tribulation was the transformation of his Thunder aptitude. Last time, he had transformed his ordinary Thunder aptitude into superior. This time, how much would it improve? On the 6th floor of the Blood Tower. Brothering, Lin Feng saw Warhawk as soon as he came out. Warhawk didn't like to meditate in a room. Instead, he preferred to meditate in an open space outside. Huh, often you finally come out? Warhawk said confidently. Your seclusion is almost caught up to that, Brad Gorin. It's all right. Lin Feng smiled. It's just that Brother Ing doesn't like this method of cultivation. Warhawk's eyes widened. I like the feeling of battle, the transformations and breakthroughs between life and death. To be honest, closed-door cultivation is not suitable for me, because my aptitude is too poor. Saying this, Warhawk shrugged, not taking it seriously. Lin Feng looked at Warhawk. His body was covered with countless scars. He was a warrior who had truly experienced the baptism of slaughter. In a one-on-one fight, Warhawk was indeed not as good as Qian Ren. But in a life-and-death battle, Warhawk would definitely be the one to survive. Recently, there's been a team mission that's quite attractive. Warhawk exclaimed, a full commission 6 blood mission, and there's not even one in a year. Oh, Lin Feng was surprised. A 6 blood mission, blood kill points started at 1 million. The full commission was 10 million because 10 million blood kill points was already the starting price of a 7 blood mission, which was equivalent to 10 billion Nemo dollars. In the hands of the blood hangers, the full commission meant that the difficulty was quite high. The mission requires 5-6 blood assassins, Warhawk said. Previously, it was an exclusive mission for Blood Tower number 7. The mission failed, and the 5-6 blood assassins were wiped out. It was directly promoted to a full commission and listed as a public mission. Lin Feng nodded. The mission's risk was not small. One mission directly killed 5-6 blood assassins. If it was any other sect, they would have suffered a great loss. Since you're interested, why don't you take it, Brothering? Lin Feng asked curiously. I want to. Warhawk smiled bitterly. But in Blood Tower number 30, including you, often, there are only 4-6 blood assassins. We can't gather enough people. Moreover, this mission has just been taken from Blood Tower number 1. Golden Peng and Ji Qianshou, who are ranked second in the 6 blood hangers, took it. There shouldn't be much of a problem. Golden Peng, Ji Qianshou. Lin Feng had heard of the 2 names. Blood Tower number 1 was full of talents. By the way, often, didn't you participate in Blood Red? Warhawk asked. Lin Feng nodded. What's the matter? Warhawk said, "There's a recent acquisition mission. It's 10% higher than the exchange price to buy a large number of super monsters and fierce god monsters cores, directly buying them in Nemo dollars. Since you participate in Blood Red, you must have hunted monsters. If you have cores, just sell them directly. If you miss this village, there won't be another shop. I don't know which idiot issued this mission." Okay. Lin Feng could only smile bitterly. "Speaking of Blood Red, often you're famous." Warhawk said, "There are rumors outside that you dug up treasures and have many blood red pearls on you. They're all looking for you, wanting to buy them from you." Lin Feng shook his head. "I refused all of them, but they didn't let me go." Warhawk sighed. "Brother Ox came a few days ago and asked me to remind you that this matter is unusual. I'm afraid someone is slandering you behind your back." "Did you offend someone?" "Offend someone?" The first person Lin Feng thought of was Xiaobai Bu. In fact, he also had some doubts. The whole thing was a bit unusual. It seemed that someone deliberately created this storm to kill with a borrowed knife. Even Brother Nyo had said so. It was highly likely that someone had secretly planted spies for him. Brother Ox said not to carry out missions for the time being and to cultivate in the Blood Tower. Warhawk said, "When things calm down, or when the 5 Blood Tower Lords speak, it won't be too late to act. After all, it's easy to dodge a spear in the open, but difficult to guard against a stab in the dark." Lin Feng frowned slightly. "So, if I enter Blood Red Forest now, someone will do something to me?" Lin Feng said, "Yes." Warhawk nodded. "After all, people are greedy. Many people will be blinded by greed and do some unpredictable things. Understand. Thank Brother Ox for me." Lin Feng smiled. "So, often you still plan to go out?" Warhawk looked over and smiled. Lin Feng nodded. "I can't hide forever. When he was weak, he dared to enter Blood Red Forest straight into the tiger's mouth. Now that his battle strength had increased by several levels, as a 6-blood assassin, how could he hide like a turtle? There was no need. If they want to come, let them come." He had never been afraid of killing and challenging. Warhawk laughed. "Brother Ox guessed right. Brother Ox said that you are determined and unafraid of challenges. You won't be afraid of those monsters. He told me to remind you to be careful of Meng Xiao and Thousand Islands Yufeng." "I will." Lin Feng's heart warmed. Meng Xiao and Thousand Islands Yufeng. Both of them had participated in Blood Red. 7 Blood Assassins. Chapter 570. He left. Lin Feng went to the Blood Fog Forest. Oh, there was no secret in the Blood Fog Forest. To enter the Blood Fog Forest, one had to pass through the newcomer camp. With so many people, his whereabouts would naturally be exposed. In fact, Lin Feng did not plan to hide. He could hide for a while, but not forever. His main purpose in entering the Blood Fog Forest was lightning tribulation. There was no need to delay Xiao Yun's lightning tribulation. After passing the lightning tribulation, Xiao Yun would enter the essence condensation realm. Her extreming body would also improve, and her cultivation speed would increase by another level. Whether it was for Xiao Yun or himself, it was great news. His seclusion was not to hide from those monsters, but to increase his battle strength, to prepare for the lightning tribulation. If you want to come, then come. Entering the Blood Fog Forest again, Lin Feng was no longer the same person. His strength was at the 6th tier, and his physique was comparable to the 3rd tier. Under the 7th tier of the titanium gray body, he was comparable to the 7th tier. Perhaps his saber technique was a bit weaker, but his mastery of the profound was enough to make up for it. Moreover, he had 4 heaven grade treasures, including 1 top grade heaven saint weapon. He was definitely one of the top fighters among the 6 blood assassins. "You have guts. You still dare to enter the Blood Fog Forest in such a state." Meng Zhao's face was like an ape, covered in black hair. His body was filled with a wild aura, and he wore a set of scale armor. There was a deep scar on his armor, and there was a huge scar on his neck. His left shoulder was still aching. That day when he was fighting for a blood red pearl, he fought with Blood Shadow and was heavily injured. Thus, he did not obtain a single blood red pearl in the entire Blood Fog Forest. One word: miserable. among the 7 blood assassins who participated in the blood fog forest, only he did not get any benefits. Fight. Not to mention that the 5 palace masters have not said anything. Even if they did, so what? At most, I will kill him, take the blood-red pearl, and enter the Nirvana realm. Meng Xiao clenched his fists, and his killing intent surged. I heard that this kid was recommended by Blood Shadow. Hua people, humph, damn Blood Shadow, damn Hua people. The rumor is true. There is indeed a secret in the blood fog forest. With a head of golden hair, Qiandao Yufeng exuded a mature charm from head to toe, even though she was over 30 years old. However, she still looked like she was only 24 or 25 years old, and her every movement was full of charm. His long eyelashes fluttered. The skin of Thousand Islands Yufeng's hands instantly turned bright red like branding iron. As the scorching aura spread out, Qiandao Yufeng's golden hair stood on end, and a trace of longing appeared in her eyes. Rumors are just rumors, but sometimes the distance between the truth and the rumor isn't much. Despite knowing that danger lurks everywhere, he still entered the blood fog forest. If he isn't ignorant, then he must be in the blood fog forest. There must be something or some place that is attracting him, and he has to go. Chuckling, Qiandao Yufeng jumped out of the blood tower. In an instant, he disappeared into the darkness. Blood tower. Chi, chi, chi. Only the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. Layers of light and shadow appeared out of nowhere. It was a woman with snow-white skin, as pure as snow. Her beautiful face had the calmness and focus of an assassin, as if nothing could affect her. He held a slender, white jade sword in his hand. It was thin and slender, looking rather strange. She was just that special. She had entered the top 10 of the 6 blood assassins at the age of 20, and she was the only one in the top 10 who had yet to reach the perfect body. Shueishiwa. She was as famous as Qianren, one of the 2 peerless beauties. Lin Feng, blood-red pearl. The sword danced, and the sword light pierced the heart. Shueishiwa's figure drifted like snowflakes and disappeared without a trace. Xiao, Xiao, Xiao. Figures passed through the newcomer camp and entered the blood fog forest. They were all 6 blood assassins, including 2 7 blood assassins. Li Shueifeng, the 7 blood assassin, saw it from afar. He frowned slightly and sighed. He also needed the blood-red pearl, but with his personality, there were some things he couldn't do. It seems that I can only try my luck in the Nirvana world. Li Shueifeng shook his head. The trees wanted to be still, but the wind didn't stop. On this day, more than 10 6 blood assassins entered the blood fog forest. Just as Warhawk had said, greed would make people blinded by greed. Chi, chi. Lin Feng entered the blood fog forest and continued to practice his saber arts. The comprehension of the profound meaning was more like a flash of light, an instant of enlightenment. However, saber arts required a long time of hard work. Perhaps some people were extremely talented, but they just needed to walk a little less than others, or they knew which path was suitable for them, such as Fu Hongxiu on Earth. There was no shortcut to saber arts. Pong! The golden-scaled battle bear king slapped with its paw. Lin Feng groaned and was instantly sent flying. The terror of an upper-tier demon god beast was obvious. However, Lin Feng didn't activate his titanium gray body at this moment. He was only fighting with his body strength. He was only at the 3rd tier, but he was challenging an upper-tier demon god beast. How bold! What a powerful attack! Lin Feng's chest caved in as he was sent flying. Most of the attack power was blocked by the Heaven-class low-tier Eternal Thunder Pearl armor. At this moment, his body was very strange. His skin was strangely caved in, and if one looked closely, a layer of dark light formed a spiral shape that was constantly changing. Mid-level, profound meaning of darkness. According to the I Ming Sutra, the holy chi of darkness can be released perfectly in the first week of pregnancy. The I Ming Sutra has about 10 whirlpools, and each whirlpool has a diameter of 1 millimeter. Zizhou has level 1 dark holy chi. There are about 30 whirlpools, and the diameter of the whirlpool is 2 millimeters. Lin Feng easily used it. His dark devil holy chi was at the 7th level of embryonic weak, which was a first-class holy chi, but there were more than 100 spiral holes, and each spiral hole had an exaggerated diameter of 5 millimeters, far more than what was described in the I Ming Sutra. Obviously, it was not the dark devil holy chi that was special. Lin Feng knew that the key was the whirlpool. It wasn't just cultivation and comprehension. The maelstrom body was equally terrifying in terms of increasing combat power and defense. Not only can I absorb the damage, but I can also increase the power of my profound intent. Only now did Lin Feng realize that the whirlpool physique's greatest function wasn't to absorb the energy of heaven and earth to increase one's cultivation speed. This was because there were too many substitutes for such functions. For example, the high-grade holy fruits, or Xiao Yun's terminating physique. The true function of the whirlpool physique was in other aspects. It could increase one's defense and comprehension of the profound intent. After the I Ming Sutra's power was increased by the whirlpool physique, it had already surpassed the mid-level profound intent. It was close to the high-level profound intent. They're finally here. Lin Feng retreated and was once again forced back by the Golden Scale Battle Bear King. The I Ming Sutra directly dissolved the powerful gold holy chi. A stream of light flashed in the distance, and the sword light went straight for the Golden Scale Battle Bear King. The newcomer's sword reached the sky, and his pure yang chi was invincible. As he retreated, Lin Feng gave a non-committal smile. Their arrival was within his expectations. If he wanted to hide, he would have already entered the blood mist forbidden ground. He wanted to lure the snake out of its hole. Chapter 571. Lin Feng had never been afraid of trouble. Back on Earth, he had single-handedly taken on India and Babylon and single-handedly bombarded other nations. Now that he was being watched, he couldn't avoid it. Instead of hiding, he might as well face it openly. It was better to face it head-on than to be tripped up in the dark. He had to face what he had to face, even if he came back from the blood mist forbidden land. Sixth blood assassin, Enil Yang. Lin Feng used the mystery of darkness. Looking at the black-clothed man in front, he recognized him. He knew more than 70% of the 6 blood assassins who participated in the blood mist forbidden land. Although he hadn't seen many of them, he knew their characteristics from their names. For example, Enil Yang's sword was as sharp as a rainbow, and he had first-grade Yaoyang Holy Chi. Bang! Bang! Enil Yang's attack was quick and concise. Facing the Golden Scale Battle Bear King, he won with skill and injured the Golden Scale Battle Bear King in a short time. Soon, the Golden Scale Battle Bear King roared unwillingly and fell into a pool of blood. Brother Lin, what a coincidence! Enil Yang flashed to Lin Feng and greeted him with a smile. The sword in his hand was stained with blood. Is that so? Lin Feng smiled. How could there be so many coincidences in the world? Enil Yang's strength was above average among the 6 blood assassins who participated in the blood mist forbidden land. With his strength, he didn't need to come to the blood mist forest. It was too easy for him to kill upper-level demon gods. That was why the Golden Scale Battle Bear King died so tragically. Brother Lin, you're lucky. Enil Yang glanced at the Golden Scale Battle Bear King on the ground and said seriously, the Golden Scale Battle Bear King is one of the top 10 demon beasts in the Blood Mist Forest. Brother Lin, you just become a 6 blood assassin. You're not its match. If I didn't come in time, you would be in big trouble. Lin Feng smiled. So, I should thank you for saving my life, brother and I. Enil Yang's eyes flashed. The sword in his hand glowed with Yaoyang Holy Chi, and the sun on his forehead sparkled. We're from the same sect, so we should help each other. This is our duty. He paused. I heard that Brother Lin has the blood mist pearl. Would you give it to me? Lin Feng looked at Enil Yang calmly. Brother and I, how did you know? Enil Yang's eyes lit up as he hastily said, Brother Lin, there's no need to hide it. Everyone already knows about this. My personality has always been upright, and I don't like to bully others. Since we're from the same sect, would Brother Lin be willing to exchange one for 300 billion Nemo coins? 300 billion Nemo dollars? Lin Feng chuckled. The sword in Enil Yang's hand vibrated, and the Yaoyang holy chi became even denser. Pay me 10% of a Yaoyang holy chi first. I'll pay you the rest. So what you're saying is to buy the Crimson Blood Pearl for a mere 30 billion Nemo coins. Lin Feng looked at Enai Liang. The truth was still the truth. No matter how well he acted on the surface, it was all just on the surface. Enai Liang raised an eyebrow. Why would I go back on my word and bully a newcomer like you? If I wanted to do that, I wouldn't have saved you just now. It won't be too late to clean up after you die under the claws of the Golden Scale Battle Bear King. Lin Feng said indifferently, that's because you know that the Golden Scale Battle Bear King can't kill me. The Golden Scale Battle Bear King's attack was powerful. However, its speed was universally acknowledged as slow. It could kill a 5-blood assassin, but it could kill a 6-blood assassin. Never heard of. Enai Liang's expression changed, and he scolded angrily. What a heartless person. I saved you out of kindness. Brother and I, there seems to be something you don't know. Lin Feng interrupted him and said slowly, when I completed the newcomer promotion mission, the demonic beast I handed him was the golden-scaled Battle Bear King. Swish! Enai Liang's old face turned green and white. Looking around vigilantly, Enai Liang's eyes flashed fiercely, and the sword in his hand emitted a murderous aura. How dare you trick me? Don't think that killing an upper-level demon god demonic beast is something great. I'm telling you, hand over the Crimson Blood Pearl if you know what's good for you. Or else, don't blame me for being merciless. Enai Liang's words were ruthless, and his murderous intent was fully revealed. Clang! Lin Feng reached out his right hand, and the supreme-grade Heavenly Saint weapon, Black Skeleton, fell into his hand. On the other side, Enai Liang's hand that was holding the sword trembled slightly. You have evil intentions, but no guts. You are overcautious. Lin Feng looked at Enai Liang and knew that Enai Liang was afraid. After all, if a member of the Killing Blood Tower was caught, the consequences would be unimaginable. If I were you, why would I talk so much nonsense? I would have launched a sneak attack just now. You want the blood-red pearl again. You don't want to pay a price. You want to gain something without risking anything. You really think I am a fool? Enai Liang's face was red, and he was fuming with anger. You are courting death. Boom! The Yaoyang holy chi exploded, and Enai Liang finally hardened his heart. The sword in his hand drew a long arc, and he went straight for Lin Feng. He was going all out. Enai Liang's eyes turned red. After taking this step, he had no way out. He had to kill this arrogant newcomer. But Enai Liang's expression changed instantly. Titanium gray body, 7th layer. The difference in strength between Lin Feng without titanium gray body and Lin Feng with titanium gray body wasn't just one level. His body's strength had increased by 30 times, and the silver patterns had shrunk, emitting a faint golden light. Lin Feng had directly stepped into the top tier of 6 blood assassins. With the strength of Sumiko's rank 8 body, Lin Feng's shining sun catching boots flashed, and his speed exploded. Heaven-grade, low-grade boots. Sky-spinning thunder, Lin Feng shouted, and the extreme-grade Heavenly Saint weapon, Black Scorpion, exploded with its true power for the first time. The intense Black Scorpion haze was mixed with coldness and fear. Lin Feng's aura instantly overshadowed Enai Liang's, and his blade technique was refined and fast. Purple Thunder Second Strike. The Thunder Dragon roared, forming a huge whirlpool. Lin Feng's third meridian diagram's power appeared, and the whirlpool body's enhancement caused the Thunder Dragon whirlpool to instantly become bigger. The centrifugal force was intense and violent, and the move that was originally purely defensive became an auxiliary attack. Heaven and earth spinning. Enai Liang was caught off guard. He didn't expect that Lin Feng, who was like a sheep just now, would instantly become a hungry tiger, and the Yaoyang holy chi exploded. But Enai Liang was a 6-blood assassin after all, and had rich battle experience. He forcefully stabilized his body, and the Yaoyang holy chi was fully displayed. The rising sun on his forehead was dazzling, and his chi exploded. But in the next second, Enai Liang's heart was beating wildly. In front of him, endless darkness enveloped him, and the terrifying power of the lightning scorpion fell from the sky with a tyrannical aura. "No!" Enai Liang screamed, and his heart was filled with fear. Boom! It was a direct suppression. Lin Feng naturally had some skills to dare to take on the transformation lightning calamity. 6 Blood Assassins' top combat power against 6 Blood Assassins' middle to upper combat power was just that cruel. Enai Liang had rich battle experience, but Lin Feng had also grown through battle. In just 3 moves, he killed Enai Liang. Lin Feng didn't want to take Enai Liang's storage ring. It wouldn't be good for him if he left behind any evidence. Moreover, why would he care about the wealth of a 6 Blood Assassin? First one, Lin Feng turned and left. Chapter 572. If there was a first, there would be a second and a third. Not all Blood Assassins were as cautious as Enai Liang. Basically, the Blood Assassins who came to the Blood Fog Forest no longer had a bottom line. The attraction of the perfect body exceeded the Blood Tower's rules. See cleaving. Lin Feng's attack was overbearing. Driven by the second level of the Overlord's battle power and supported by the Thunder Dragon Holy Chi, even if he hadn't fully comprehended the first move of the 7 limits, its power was already quite shocking. After all, the blade intent was almost perfect. The demon race's blade techniques were more about the application of power, leaning towards strength. Pooh! Blood spurted out. De Yong's blade shattered and he died. He opened his eyes unwillingly. He couldn't understand how a newcomer could be so strong. De Yong wasn't the only one who had the same thought. Lin Feng had not revealed his true strength in the Blood Fog continent, and almost no one knew what level his true strength was at. There were only rumors that he had been killed by Qiu Baibu that day, and when he returned, everyone thought that he had luckily escaped the calamity and obtained the treasure. Against Lin Feng's battle power, it had always been stagnant. He was inferior to Qiu Baibu. As for Qiu Baibu, other than his speed, he was only an average 6 Blood Assassin, or even below average. Lin Feng couldn't even compare to him. Naturally, no one thought much of him. But an inherent impression killed. How can he be so strong? 6 Blood Assassin Lu Tao stared at Lin Feng in shock. He stood in place, trembling. He was seriously injured, and even his low-grade Heaven Tier armor had shattered. Thud! Thud! Lin Feng's steps were steady and steady. He walked towards him like a death god. The terrifying, profound meaning of darkness, heavy, bound him. Behind Lin Feng, a golden dragon rose up with a roar. It was like a king had descended. How could he be so strong? This was an unsolvable answer. Every Blood Assassin who thought so had died. They died with great reluctance, but there was no medicine for regret. Greed made people lose their rationality. If you wanted something, you had to pay a price. And the price they paid was their own lives. Not strong enough. Lin Feng stood tall, with Black Skeleton in hand. It had already been 2 days since he entered the Blood Fog Forest. His previous plan was to lure the snake out of its hole and to challenge and kill to overcome the bottleneck of his saber techniques. It was very difficult to go from the peak of level 10 to level 11. This was a major hurdle. Once he crossed it, the next obstacle he encountered would be the peak of the 11th level. Of the 7 limits, the first 3 could be cultivated. There's still one more day. Lin Feng continued to practice his saber without stopping. Xiao Yun's transformation lightning retribution would be in 3 days. By then, regardless of whether he had achieved a breakthrough in his saber technique, he would have to enter the forbidden blood mist. Chi, chi, chi. Lin Feng's hands rose and fell as he continued practicing. Breaking the sea was a move that focused on extreme speed. It could even break the sea apart. In a technique of force, one's strength would sublimate rapidly. The closer it was to the extreme, the fiercer it would be. This was because the deeper one went in the sea, the stronger the water pressure would be, and the stronger the shackles on the saber's strength would be. Naturally, there was no problem for him to use it. But his realm was not high enough, so he couldn't exert the full power of the Sea Breaker. The 11th realm was like a huge roadblock in front of him. As long as he could destroy it, the road ahead would not only be wide, but also endless. Something is missing. In the end, What else is missing? Lin Feng was persistent. Instead, he waved his saber faster and faster. He had forcefully cultivated breaking the sea and pushed his saber technique realm backward. At this moment, he was stuck at the bottleneck. Suddenly, "You care too much about saber techniques." It was a clear voice. It carried a hint of calmness and coldness. Lin Feng was startled. He was not surprised by her appearance because he had already felt it. Instead, he was startled by what she said just now. Yes, there was no saber in his hand. There was no saber in his heart. This was the true return to simplicity. Although it was possible to push his saber technique realm backward from saber techniques, he had forgotten the differences between demons and humans. He only remembered the primordial heavenly demon Qi Yan's saber technique and realm his mind, but neglected the fact that the paths they walked were different. Phew, Lin Feng exhaled softly. Those involved could not see clearly. With just a few words, he had pulled himself out of the dead end. Lin Feng raised his head and looked not far away. It was a girl as pure as snow. She was expressionless. She held a slender white jade sword in her hand. She was light and slender. She walked over gently. Chui Shui, just like her name. Six-blood assassin, ranked 10th. Lin Feng looked at the snow-white girl in front of him. She was 1 year younger than him. She was the only six-blood assassin in the top 10 who had not attained a perfect body. Her appearance caused a snowflake to fly. Lin Feng's expression turned solemn. Chui Shui's name was quite famous. Her ranking in the top 10 of six-blood assassins meant that she was basically the weakest of seven-blood assassins. Chui Shui was also famous back in Crimson Blood. She had also obtained a Crimson Blood Pearl. "Are you also here to snatch the Blood Pearl?" Lin Feng looked at Chui Shui. To be honest, he did not expect her to come. "Yes." Chui Shui's voice was cold. She looked at Lin Feng. "Because I don't have money." What an honest answer. Lin Feng smiled. Among all the blood assassins, Chui Shui was the most direct and honest. Perhaps it had something to do with her age. "You still have a lot of time. It's not impossible for you to awaken a perfect body," Lin Feng said directly. Chui Shui was only 20 years old. Chui Shui still had 10 years to temper herself and improve. She was unlike other warriors who had passed the age of 30. To increase their mind expanse, they had to rely on super treasures like the Crimson Blood Pearl. "I don't want to wait." Chui Shui looked over. "Are you willing to lend me a Crimson Blood Pearl?" "Lend?" Instantly, Lin Feng was rendered speechless by Chui Shui's request. "I will return it to you." Chui Shui's beautiful eyes were filled with desire. Their eyes met. Lin Feng could tell many things from Chui Shui's eyes. She wasn't lying. "You should know that I won't agree," Lin Feng said. He couldn't find a reason to lend Chui Shui a Crimson Blood Pearl, even though she was already the most sincere blood assassin. "I know." Chui Shui nodded. Instantly, her white jade sword flashed with a beam of light. It was astonishingly fast as she pointed it at Lin Feng. "So, I can only snatch it. However, don't worry. I won't kill you. I only need a Crimson Blood Pearl." Lin Feng did not know how to respond. Was she sincere, naive, or domineering? It felt like the robbers on Earth. She was telling him, "I only want money. I won't kill." Looking at Chui Shui, Lin Feng smiled. What she said was actually very reasonable. She didn't have the money, and he wasn't willing to lend it to her. Therefore, she could only snatch it. "All right." Lin Feng suddenly smiled and held Black Tortoise. At that moment, he could feel the saber much clearer than before. It was all thanks to Chui Shui's reminder. His fighting spirit rapidly surged. Sensing Chui Shui's powerful sword intent, Lin Feng felt his blood boil. "If you can defeat me, I'll give you a Crimson Blood Pearl." "Really?" Chui Shui's eyes lit up. "A gentleman's word is as good as a whip." Lin Feng smiled valiantly. Chapter 573. One Sword, One Snow. The release of the holy chi of ice and snow brought out Blowing Snow's sword art. It perfectly combined the profound meaning of ice and snow. The slender white jade sword in her hand was extremely fast. The sword light flashed, and the ice and snow danced in the air. The combination of the two true yin holy chi was extremely ingenious. But this was not Blowing Snow's strongest point. What a powerful swordsmanship realm. Lin Feng was shocked. He had sparred with Warhawk before. Warhawk's blade art was one level higher than his, but Blowing Snow's sword art had reached a whole new level. There was something hidden in the realm of the sword art. It was mysterious and magical. At least the 12th level. Bang! Bang! Lin Feng kept retreating as he fought. He was in a passive position against Cue Shui. His blade techniques were completely countered by Cue Shui. However, Lin Feng's face was filled with joy. Every time he fought against Cue Shui, he felt as if he was hitting the 11th level with a hammer. Inspiration, enlightenment. Bang! With a muffled groan, Lin Feng was once again pushed back by Cue Shui's sword power. However, Cue Shui's holy chi of ice and snow was not powerful enough to attack. 90% of the indestructible Thunder Pearl armor was used up by the Dark Eat Song, and the rest was absorbed by the Whirlpool. As long as Blowing Snow didn't hit his vital points, he would only be slightly injured. His defense was extremely strong. Again, Lin Feng landed on the ground and jumped up. The power of Black Lotus appeared again and went straight for Blowing Snow. How could he miss such a good opportunity to learn the blade art? Again and again, Blowing Snow's beautiful face was shocked. She knew her weakness. She had spent too much time on the sword art. After all, her true yin holy chi was not as strong as the 5 elements holy chi. It was even weaker than the holy chi of heaven and earth. Although Lin Feng's blade art was not as good, his defense was flawless. The ice and snow danced in the air. Blowing Snow's eyes flashed, and the white jade sword in her hand sped up again. Take my self-created 3 heavens of ice and snow. Blowing Snow stood still and said in a clear voice, "You can take it. I give up." Okay. Lin Feng's fighting spirit was very strong. He had learned a lot from Blowing Snow. Not only her sword technique, but also the fusion of her holy chi. The two true yin holy chi, ice and snow, merged perfectly, just like the nether holy chi. However, her weakness was also very big. If she met an opponent with strong enough defense, she would be powerless. First layer of heaven, ice and snow descend. Cue Shui's voice rang out along with her sword. What a powerful sword intent. Lin Feng wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. There was a hint of longing in his eyes. His current defense was quite strong, but he still suffered light injuries when facing this sword. He couldn't dodge it. Cue Shui's sword level was way higher than his. Clang! The supreme quality heavenly saint artifact, Heiho, surged with a powerful battle intent. The lightning dragons behind Lin Feng roared as the scenes of the primordial celestial demon Qi Yan's battles appeared in his mind. His comprehension of the first move of the 7 limits, Sea Breaker, grew deeper and deeper. He had been practicing this move for far too long. Again, Lin Feng was beaming with joy. The stronger he met, the stronger he became. Only such a strong enemy was what he truly wanted. Her sword was like his saber, resonating strongly with his body. The stronger the opponent, only then could he force himself to be stronger. Second layer of heaven, ice and snow descend. Cue Shui's sword intent displayed the ice and snow mentality to the fullest. Power, Black Haze. The power of a supreme quality heavenly saint artifact. It was fully displayed. Even though Cue Shui was at a disadvantage, the black haze that filled the sky changed the environment. The ice and snow mentality was greatly reduced. Even though the black haze's special ability couldn't affect Cue Shui, who had a firm mind, it was enough to create some trouble for her. Mid-level profound intent, 800 whirlpool, ghost spin. The profound intent and the power merged together. The black haze shook violently. The 2 whirlpools, one inside and one outside. Lin Feng started to counterattack. Even though Cue Shui's sword intent was stronger than before, he still felt a surge of energy in his heart. He couldn't be happy if he didn't vent it out. Even if it was just a challenge, he didn't want to lose. Red cloud thunder. Bolts of lightning struck down, forming a lightning whirlpool at the tip of the saber. It turned into countless lightning bolts. Wherever the saber went, the lightning whirlpool would strike. After the whirlpool body's amplification, the power of the whirlpool was quite good. Lin Feng held the black skeleton tightly. The saber was clear. The coldness of the ice and snow. The saber intent that pierced the heart. He let go of everything. There is no longer the saber art of the primordial sky demon Qi Yin in his mind. There was only himself. There was only Chuexiue's white jade sword in the valley. Every time she waved it, it showed the true essence of the sword. That's it. The threshold of the 11th realm, the barrier of the 11th realm. So that's it. The roar of the ocean. Lin Feng opened his eyes. His heart was calm. In the distance, Chuexiue's pretty face was a bit pale. She waved the white jade sword in her hand. The sword intent was so strong that it shot up to the sky. The ice and snow, St. Qi, seemed to be frozen. The whole black haze was frozen. Chuexiue's power rose rapidly. The third level, the world of ice and snow. But it was too late. Endless red cloud thunder appeared. The power of the heavenly saint artifact, the black skeleton, exploded at the same time. A tyrannical figure radiating boundless power descended from the sky with an intense saber intent. The black scorpion in his hand roared and broke through the ice. The thunder dragon roared and swallowed the surrounding ice and snow. Lin Feng's saber was fast and heavy. Its might increased explosively as it smashed down. The first move of the 7 limits. Breaking the sea, Lin Feng's power reached its peak. Crack! The barrier of the 11th realm was broken. I lost. Chuexiue's face was as pale as snow. The beautiful eyes that looked at Lin Feng revealed a trace of helplessness. Her right hand drooped slightly. The white jade sword in her hand trembled slightly. She lost in the battle of absolute power. And she lost at the most powerful move, the world of ice and snow. Chuexiue's heart was in a mess. Under the cold expression, there was a proud heart. She was only at the 5th level of the 6 blood assassins. She relied on her own swordsmanship to reach the top 10. But today it was cruelly shattered. I was lucky. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He was in a good mood. Under the pressure of Chuexiue and the guidance of the sword technique, he finally performed the first move of the 7 limits. This also meant that his saber technique had officially reached the 3rd level, the 11th realm. Among the strong cultivators of the fetus realm, his saber technique was no longer his weak point. I will keep my promise. Snowdrift bit her lips lightly. A trace of redness seeped out of her heart. Looking at Chuexiue's expression, Lin Feng's heart was moved. She was different from the other 6 blood assassins. Her pursuit of the way of the sword, her persistence towards her goal, her simplicity and sincerity made him have a good impression of her. Lin Feng said, "I can lend you a blood pearl." Chuexiue was stunned. She looked at him in disbelief. "But I have a condition." Lin Feng stretched out his right hand. A blood pearl appeared. "If you agree, it is yours." Moi. Chuexiue's eyes lit up. Like an extinguished flame of hope, Chuexiue's chest heaved up and down. "Say it." "It is very simple." Lin Feng looked at Chuexiue with a smile. His eyes were bright. "I want you to accompany me." To be continued. Chapter 574. Shush! Chuexiue's cheeks instantly turned red. She was furious. She didn't expect Lin Feng to make such an obscene request. She bit her lips tightly. Chuexiue's body couldn't stop trembling. For a girl who had never been in this field before, such words were like a sharp sword pressed against her neck. You. Chuexiue's face turned red. She was so angry that she couldn't say anything. Lin Feng finally reacted. "Don't misunderstand. That's not what I meant." "Then what do you mean?" Chuexiue finally said out. Lin Feng smiled apologetically. "I mean, practice with me." Chuexiue Rue. Lin Feng continued. "Your sword art inspired me a lot. 3 days, practice with me for 3 days, and I'll lend you this blood-red bead." Chuexiue's chest calmed down. Her blushing face also gradually returned to normal. Chuexiue hesitated. "That's it. What do you think?" Lin Feng smiled. Chuexiue's face turned red again. She nodded. "If that's it, of course it's not a problem. Let alone 3 days, I can even spend more time with you. How about, I'll practice with you for 10 days? Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. This was the first time he met such an honest girl. 3 days is enough, but I can choose the time, Lin Feng said. If he couldn't break through in 3 days, then 10 days would be useless. His blade art had reached the 11th level, so he didn't need Chue Shui to practice with him. But from the 11th level to the 12th level, it would be even harder. Chue Shui nodded. Then I'll go back and wait for you. After that, she turned around and left. She didn't even look at the blood-red bead in Lin Feng's hand. Wait, Lin Feng called out. Huh? Blowing Snow turned her head, and her eyes suddenly lit up. She reflexively reached out and caught the item. It was a blood-red bead. Chue Shui opened her mouth slightly and looked at Chu Feng in surprise. Take it and use it first. Lin Feng smiled. Chue Shui was a person who treated people with sincerity and kindness. She was very honest. Blowing Snow looked at Lin Feng with gratitude in his eyes. He gently grasped the blood-red pearl. Thank you. These two words were as heavy as 1,000 pounds. Blowing Snow was too far away. Focusing on swordsmanship, he had neglected holy qi. Indeed, the true yin holy qi could be cultivated very quickly, so Chue Shui had come up with an expedient plan to combine ice and snow. He had condensed ice Saint Qi, but it was only at the level of the 5-element Saint Qi, and it was only at the first level. If her holy qi is as strong as mine, she'll be the top even among 7 bloody killers. Lin Feng was very clear. The holy qi lowered Snowblowing's combat power. But in terms of pure combat talent, she is indeed better than Thousand Forefather. Having seen Thousand Forefather's strength, Lin Feng could now clearly distinguish Blowing Snow's combat strength. Qianren was indeed stronger than Snowstorm, but not by much. Once Snowblowing advanced to a perfect body, not to mention other things, just the increase of the heaven and earth energy sensitivity by 10 times was enough to make Snowblowing's cultivation speed soar. When holy qi was no longer her restraint, Snowblowing's lowest limit was an 8 bloody killer, and Qianren's highest limit was an 8 bloody killer. This was the difference between the two women. No wonder Qianren felt inferior. It wasn't unreasonable for her to think that she couldn't compare to Snowblowing. Phew! Lin Feng sighed softly. He had been slightly injured in the battle with Snowblowing, especially the 3 heavens of ice and snow that she had created. Each layer was stronger than the last. He was about to leave. Suddenly, Lin Feng's eyes flashed. A chill quickly rose from the bottom of his spine. 7 bloody killer. Lin Feng frowned. His senses were extremely sharp, and he could tell that this person's qi was at least 1 level stronger than Chue Shui's. His qi was extremely violent, just like a ferocious monster. He should be one of the 3 7-blood assassins, Meng Xiao. He would eventually meet what he was supposed to meet. So many 6 bloody killers had come. Lin Feng didn't think that the 7 bloody killers would ignore him. They might be unlucky and hadn't met him yet. Or they were like venomous snakes lurking in the dark, watching his every move and waiting for an opportunity. Meng Xiao. Lin Feng looked into the distance. His eyes were as fierce as a ferocious beast's. His body was covered in black hair. He was filled with a wild aura. Arrogant laughter accompanied by wanton holy qi of Yin burst out. Unlike the other 7 bloody killers' sneak attacks, Meng Xiao attacked head-on. Kill. He had come here to kill. Boom. Full of explosive power, Meng Xiao's physical fitness was extremely terrifying. He was definitely the best of the 7 bloody killers. His strength and defense were impeccable. If he hadn't met Blood Shadow that day, he would have been able to achieve something in Crimson Blood. Boom! Lin Feng's Heaven Saint weapon, Black Centipede, burst out at the same time. The power of the black haze spread. Lin Feng's Aura Sword. The great glory of Blade. The intermediate profound meaning of thunder that had caused great trouble for Chue Shui. The Crimson Cloud thunder once again condensed into a whirlpool of lightning and bombarded Meng Xiao like a storm. But this time, it didn't work. Meng Xiao's explosive power was too strong. Meng Xiao's beast-like attack was like a fish in water in the blood fog forest. He made use of the trees to display his movement technique to its fullest. He quickly closed in on Meng Xiao with a leap. His hands turned into claws, and a cold glint appeared. The real test. To Lin Feng, this was the most critical moment of the slaughter challenge. He was challenging the 7 bloody killers. Meng Xiao's strength was definitely not ordinary. Relying on his skillful movement and geographical advantage, he attacked Lin Feng's weakness. Even though the 7th level of the titanium gray body was fully displayed, Lin Feng's physical strength was only comparable to level 8 bloody killers. There was a huge gap between him and Meng Xiao. Defend? Why not attack? Lin Feng's black haze condensed. His blade intent was shocking. He had just broken through to the next level of the blade technique. Lin Feng was full of confidence. Even if it was only the first move, its power was enough to break Xue's strongest move. This was the Nirvana world's blade technique, the demon race's strongest blade technique, the Qiyu clan's ultimate technique. 7 limits. See Breaker. Lin Feng instantly exploded. The attack was so fierce that Meng Xiao didn't dare to underestimate it. He nimbly dodged, relying on his advantage. But in an instant, Meng Xiao's expression changed. A dazzling white light flashed in front of him. It was like a white phoenix soaring in the sky, surrounding him. White Phoenix Universe. Lin Feng had already expected it. The use of the profound meaning of light gave Meng Xiao the most direct attack of his blindness. Spinning heaven and earth, strong light shot out. Meng Xiao screamed in pain. His face was ferocious as he roared. Countless claw shadows pierced in front of him. Lin Feng retreated quickly. His expression changed slightly. Endless wheel destruction. Lin Feng made his move. 8 flywheels flew towards Meng Xiao at high speed. The golden dragon roared. Rays of light pierced through. A demon figure appeared in front of Meng Xiao, holding a huge black shield. With a loud bang, golden spears clashed. Meng Xiao groaned and retreated. However, Lin Feng didn't chase after him. Instead, he retreated. Hua! Lin Feng actually left. Chapter 575. What happened? The battle between Lin Feng and Meng Xiao was too fast. Although Meng Xiao was caught off guard, he was still a 7-blood assassin. His strength was not bad. He retreated and defended, barely surviving the temporary blindness. Lin Feng's continuous attacks had only managed to injure him slightly. Even if it was a surprise attack, Luan Huan extermination, it was still blocked. This was the strength of a 7-blood assassin, comparable to Nemo. In the 33 continents, it could be said to be the top. Bastard! Meng Xiao's face turned purple. His vision quickly recovered, but there was no trace of Lin Feng. At this moment, a red figure instantly appeared. With a head of golden hair, Thousand Islands Yu Feng exuded a mature charm. She looked in the direction Lin Feng left, ignoring Meng Xiao. Her beautiful eyes did not even bother to look at Meng Xiao. A fragrant wind blew, and Thousand Islands Yu Feng instantly disappeared. Bitch, don't try to steal my prey. Meng Xiao roared angrily and followed. What a pity. Lin Feng was also helpless. In the battle with Meng Xiao, he had actually gained the upper hand by winning by surprise. Although Meng Xiao's body was strong, he also had the advantage of mystery, saint energy, and the suppression of the heaven-tier sacred treasure. If he continued to fight, he had at least a 60% chance of defeating Meng Xiao. But this was based on the fact that he only had Meng Xiao as his opponent. A 7-blood assassin, a woman's aura, 90% likely to be Thousand Islands Yu Feng. Lin Feng thought to himself. Earlier, he'd clearly sensed a powerful and concealed aura approaching, and it was like a venomous snake that had been hiding in the dark had finally revealed itself. Therefore, he chose to avoid. He was not afraid of one-on-one. But 1 against 2, Lin Feng had no confidence, especially when Thousand Islands Yu Feng's strength was not inferior to Meng Xiao's. There was no point in trying to be brave. What a coincidence! Lin Feng sighed, and his eyes suddenly lit up. It's not necessarily a coincidence. Thousand Islands Yu Feng may have been observing in the dark, so she appeared so timely. She did not appear earlier or later. It just so happened that he appeared at this critical juncture. If he did not leave, he would have been killed. If he did not leave, he would be besieged by 2 7-blood assassins. Although Lin Feng was confident, with his current strength, his chances of winning against 2 opponents were not high. This woman is very cunning. Lin Feng was vigilant. If he did not guess wrong, Thousand Islands Yufeng should have discovered him long ago. However, he did not make a move. Instead, he waited patiently for an opportunity. If he was killed by the other 6 blood assassins, with Thousand Islands Yufeng's strength, she would definitely be the Oriole behind. She should have seen how he defeated Snowflake. It was only when Meng Xiao appeared that she had absolute confidence. Meng Xiao, Thousand Islands Yufeng. Lin Feng sped away. Just as Brother Ox had warned him, the two of them indeed had to be extra careful, especially when their minds were as meticulous as a poisonous scorpion. Thousand Islands Yufeng. Whoosh! Qiandao Yufeng's red figure flashed. A pair of beautiful eyes scanned the surroundings before finally landing on the ancient seal. Her voluptuous red lips pursed as if she was thinking about something. Soon a gust of wind blew. A tyrannical aura that tore through space appeared. It was Meng Xiao, who had been beaten up by Lin Feng. Where is he? Where did this kid go? Meng Xiao's face darkened. His hands turned into claws. The huge scar on his neck wriggled, sinister and terrifying like a centipede. Meng Xiao shouted angrily. Stinking woman, you killed that kid? Thousand Islands Yufeng glanced at him. What do you think? Meng Xiao ground his teeth, unable to restrain his anger. Where did he go? Thousand Islands Yufeng sneered. You are fighting with him. Why are you asking me? Meng Xiao's old face turned green and white, his clenched fists trembling. What did you say? Stinking woman. Thousand Islands Yufeng sneered. Don't bark here like a mad dog. If you have the ability, go find him yourself. I feel ashamed for you. Meng Xiao was fuming with anger as he glared hatefully at Thousand Islands Yufeng. No longer bickering with her, he roared to the sky and left in anger. Thousand Islands Yufeng's face showed a touch of disdain, all brawn and no brains. Whoosh! Thousand Islands Yufeng looked at the ancient seal, her sexy red lips moving slightly. That day, he suddenly disappeared. Thousand Islands Yufeng turned her head to the right. At that time, Chiok Baibu's position was far from here. If there is a large formation hidden in this distance, it can't be so big. Moreover, the Blood Fog Forest has a long history. What should be discovered has been discovered long ago. The possibility of there being a secret place is very small. Thinking of this, Thousand Islands Yufeng couldn't help but chuckle, because she had already thought it through. Touching the ancient seal, Thousand Islands Yufeng's snake-like eyes flashed. Thinking about it, this is the only possibility. The ancient seal. Hee, what a big trap. Sure enough, a lie spread thousands of times and becomes the truth. Maybe some people have doubts, but they don't dare to try. Thousand Islands Yufeng smiled, and the red figure disappeared into the ancient seal. She should have entered the Nirvana world. Blood Fog Forbidden Ground. Entering again, Lin Feng felt good. Last time, he had cheated Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Lin. If he saw that he was still alive and kicking, what expression would he have? Lin Feng was not afraid of Heaven Demon Emperor. Heaven Demon Emperor couldn't kill him before, and he couldn't do anything to him now. I will endure the transformation, lightning, tribulation here. Lin Feng had already planned. Compared to the Blood Fog Forest, this place was much safer. With Thousand Islands Yufeng's cunning, she should be suspicious of the ancient seal. Lin Feng thought that his sudden disappearance had no reason not to arouse suspicion. Qiu Baibu could say that he entered the Nirvana world, but after he came back alive, it would attract the attention of people with ulterior motives. However, it didn't matter to him. On the contrary, he hoped that Thousand Islands Yufeng was smart enough to enter the Blood Fog Forbidden Ground. Poisonous snakes hiding in the dark are scary, but poisonous snakes in the open, the threat is greatly reduced. Lin Feng held Black Skeleton in his hand, his heart calm. The breakthrough of the Saber Realm and the mastery of the first move of the 7 limits gave him enough confidence to challenge the 7 blood killers. Blood Fog Canyon. Inside the golden tower, Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan opened his eyes. Bang! Blazing flames flew. Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan's face twitched. He was shocked and furious. This greedy human is not dead. Unbelievable. Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan knew how strong primordial heavenly demon Qi Yan's evil spirit was. Even a Nemo expert couldn't resist it. Could it be that he hasn't merged with blood? Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan's eyes turned. Suddenly, whoosh! Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan's expression changed again. Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan abruptly stood up with a ferocious look in his eyes. Another human. How can this be? Did they discover the secret here? Impossible. This greedy human must be hungry. Damn it. I want to kill him. Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan gritted his teeth, his eyes wide open. Chapter 576. Little Yun, can you sense the aura of the little sky-swallowing sun wolf? Yes, I should be able to. It's 17 degrees north of the west, young master. Okay. In the blood mist forbidden land, Lin Feng sped along. Since he was here, there was no reason to miss such a good opportunity. He had let the little sky-swallowing sun wolf go last time because of his promise, but this time he was free. Heaven Demon, the Archwuluan, was not a good person. He wanted to use the primordial Skyfiend's soul to harm him. There was no reason not to take revenge. Besides, they were enemies, not friends. Are we going to catch it now, young master? Little Yun asked worriedly. You want to wait until the transformation lightning tribulation is over. Lin Feng knew what Little Yun was thinking. It was psychological fear. The sky-swallowing sun wolf was a natural enemy of the five-tailed snow fox. Heaven Demon, the Archwuluan, was even more lofty and had the aura of a superior demon. Once he caught the little sky-swallowing sun wolf, he would definitely incur the wrath of Heaven Demon, the Archwuluan. Little Yin said softly, I'm afraid. Lin Feng said, there's nothing to be afraid of. If Heaven Demon, the Archwuluan, had the ability to affect the lightning tribulation, he could have killed me that day. No matter how angry a tiger in a cage is, it's still locked in a cage. But the little sky-swallowing sun wolf is different. Little Yin asked suspiciously why. Lin Feng smiled. Once Heaven Demon, the Archwuluan, knows why we are here, he will definitely hide or protect the little sky-swallowing sun wolf. It will be difficult to kill again. Whoosh! A beautiful red figure looked around curiously. What a thick blood mist. Qiandao Yufeng was astonished. Her pair of beautiful eyes flickered. This is not the Nirvana world. It should be a part of the blood fog forest. So, the seal just now is not the real ancient seal. And I understand. Smiling charmingly, Thousand Islands Yufeng was in a good mood. This should be the treasure land Lin Feng found. A total of 1,000,000 pure blood sacred pearls and pure mist sacred pearls were obtained here, including the blood red pearls. Her beautiful eyes revealed a look of desire. To Thousand Islands Yufeng, the only thing she lacked now was a perfect body. Just one step. There must be a secret here. There must be something wrong if something is out of the ordinary. The seal is fake and has been hidden for countless years. The blood-red pearl might not be the greatest treasure here. Qiandao Yufeng thought for a moment, then suddenly raised her eyebrows. Legend has it that crimson blood came from the Nirvana world. Could it be a mistake? It's very possible that the source of crimson blood came from this. If that's the case, then the secret of the blood fog forest being shrouded in blood fog all year round. Qiandao Yufeng had a bold idea. The more she thought about it, the more shocked she became. Her full chest rose and fell rapidly, and her sexy red lips whispered. However, as soon as the thought flashed through her mind, Qian Island Yufeng's face changed drastically. The terrifying demonic beasts in the distance enveloped her. Sky-devouring lion wolf. It was a giant wolf that was emitting raging flames. Its demonic eyes were like blazing suns, shining brightly. Crack! Crack! The heaven-devouring demonic wolf's body swelled, and his muscles were exposed. His roar was filled with extreme pain. His muscles were incomparably firm, and his aura was constantly rising. The bulging blood vessels were horrifying. Behind the sky-swallowing wolf, a gigantic image of the heaven-swallowing sun wolf appeared. Its aura was shockingly powerful. Demonic beast, sky-swallowing demonic wolf. Qiandao Yufeng's beautiful eyes were filled with fear. Young master, something's wrong. Xiao Yun's voice was a little panicked. What's wrong? Lin Feng didn't understand. Xiao Yun was a little nervous. The aura of the sky-swallowing demonic wolf suddenly increased. It's very strange. How strange? Lin Feng's face was slightly solemn. Xiao Yun's voice trembled. Its aura has surpassed mine. No, it's far beyond mine. And there's a feeling of him. Him? Yes. Lin Feng didn't ask any more questions. His gaze fell not far away, and his eyes flashed brightly, because he had already felt that the sky-swallowing demonic wolf was in front of him. He also felt the powerful pressure of the heaven demonic emperor Magus Wheel, and the rapid changes in the energy of heaven and earth. There was no doubt that it was a sign of battle. Whoosh! Floating in the air, Lin Feng was surprised. A human and a demonic beast were in the midst of a fierce battle. Just as he had sensed and seen, the sky-swallowing demonic wolf and the heaven demonic emperor Magus Wheel's aura suppressed the other party like a hot knife through butter. It was a red-clothed woman with long blonde hair. She was in a sorry state now. Thousand Islands, Yufeng? Lin Feng laughed involuntarily. He had seen her once in the Crimson Blood Lake. At that time, she was high-spirited and full of vigor, like a high and mighty empress. But now, she didn't have the slightest bit of nobility. Her red clothes were tattered beyond recognition, and her heaven-ranked inner armor was full of scratches. The most miserable thing was that half of her face was fiery red, and a lot of her golden hair was burnt. Her aura was even weaker. She was suppressed by the sky-swallowing demonic wolf. Strange. Lin Feng was puzzled. He knew the sky-swallowing demonic wolf's strength very well. It had just passed the transformation lightning tribulation not long ago, and now it should be in the transformation stage, the same level as Xiao Yun, which was the human fetal stage. But now, the sky-swallowing demonic wolf's aura was at the essence condensation stage. So when Xiao Yun sensed it earlier, it was very strange. But the real strange thing was not here. Thousand Islands Yufeng is a seven-blood assassin. Her strength is even stronger than Meng Xiao. Lin Feng knew very well that Thousand Islands Yufeng was obviously stronger than the sky-swallowing demonic beast at the essence condensation stage, unless she was seriously injured. But there was no reason that she couldn't even defeat a demon beast at the demon god level. Seven-blood assassin. That was the strength of a Nemo expert. Lin Feng stared at the battle. Soon he understood. It's not that Thousand Islands Yufeng has become weak, but the sky-swallowing demonic wolf has become stronger. Lin Feng saw clearly that the sky-swallowing demonic wolf was definitely at the essence condensation stage. Its blue veins were exposed, and its blood vessels were protruding. It was more like an upgrade after using a secret technique. But the real key was the sky-swallowing demonic wolf behind it. Heavenly Demon Emperor, Wizard Wheel. What a strong combat ability. The strength of an essence condensation stage. And its combat ability is at least a level higher. Lin Feng nodded secretly. Just like the 7 blood and 8 blood assassins of the Blood Tower. With Zizhou's strength, they could display the strength of a Nemo expert. The reason why Thousand Islands Yufeng was at a disadvantage was that her combat ability was indeed inferior to the sky-swallowing demonic wolf. It's terrifying. If it weren't for the limitation of its body and level, it would be even stronger, just like the real sky-swallowing demonic wolf. Lin Feng thought of the battle between the primordial sky demon Qi Yin and the heavenly demon emperor Wu Lun. The sky-swallowing demonic wolf's powerful bloodline and combat ability were fully displayed. It was amazing. The sky-swallowing demonic wolf in front of him was quite similar to the heavenly demon emperor Wu Lun. Its explosive power in close combat was supplemented by the elemental energy of fire. It was like a mini heavenly demon emperor Wu Lun. Lin Feng was stunned. Chapter 577. Looking at the little sky-swallowing young wolf, Lin Feng was deep in thought. Swoosh! Obviously, there was a reason for its sudden increase in strength. It was completely different from when it was captured by him. Now, the little sky-swallowing young wolf seemed to be possessed by the heaven demon Emperor Magus Wheel. The image of the sky-swallowing young wolf in the void was very clear. He had fought with the heaven demon Emperor Magus Wheel many times in the Blood Fog Canyon. If it had exploded like this that day, I would have died long ago, Lin Feng thought to himself. It was comparable to the top of the 7 blood assassins of the Blood Tower. Even someone as strong as Qiandao Yufeng was struggling to hold on. She was not a match for it all. Back then, it was difficult for her to even win against an upper-level fierce god demonic beast. If she were to face the current sky-swallowing sun wolf, she would definitely lose. Lin Feng didn't know that the heaven demon Emperor Magus Wheel also wanted to explode that day. However, the transformation Thunder Tribulation had just ended. The little sky-swallowing young wolf was seriously injured. Although it was the blood essence of the heaven demon Emperor Magus Wheel, its body couldn't withstand the explosion of blood essence. Its body has only increased in strength. It hasn't formed an essence core. Lin Feng watched the battle carefully. Demon beasts walked the path of transformation. The key was the essence core. Compared to the inner core, it had a higher level of power. It was like the transformation of human life. If it forms an essence core, with the help of the heaven demon Emperor Magus Wheel's consciousness and power, it would be at least a 9-blood assassin. Lin Feng clicked his tongue. Even so, the little sky-swallowing young wolf was already very scary. Its body was weak, but its use of the energy of heaven and earth and its performance was definitely at the master level. It was as if a martial arts grandmaster had possessed the body of a child. Although this child was very weak, when it came to fighting, his combat strength was enough to surpass that of a normal martial artist. Qiandao Yufeng, it's over. Lin Feng shook his head. Even if it were him, facing such a powerful little sky-swallowing young wolf, it would be difficult to win. Even if Qiandao Yufeng was faster, she didn't even have a chance to escape. She was completely restrained and controlled. Lin Feng sighed in his heart. If she hadn't broken into the blood fog forbidden land now, I would be in big trouble. Lin Feng stared at the battle. He frowned. Too unlucky. Qiandao Yufeng was panicking. She never imagined that she would encounter such a terrifying, heaven-devouring lion wolf not long after entering this mysterious place. Even though she was a 7-blood assassin who had carried out countless missions and survived many near-death situations, she couldn't even find a chance to escape. It was too terrifying. She had never seen such a terrifying demonic beast. Although the bloodline of the sky-swallowing sun wolf was extremely strong, its combat ability was far more terrifying than one could imagine. A condensed essence beast did not even have an essence core and only relied on its physique that was similar to a lower-level human. He was able to bring out the top combat power of the 7 bloodshed assassins. What kind of monster is this? Qiandao Yufeng's complexion was deathly pale. Half of her cheeks had been invaded by fire energy, and she could no longer care about her appearance. There was only one thing in her mind. Run. Escape from this terrifying place. I don't want to die. Thousand Islands Yufeng was hysterical, as if she was crazy. The flames in front of him exploded, and clouds of fire rose from the ground. Together with the close combat attacks of the sky-swallowing demonic wolf, there were no gaps at all. Bang! Bang! The light of the fire was dazzling, and the sky-devouring lion-wolf roared. The entire earth was like a meteor. Thousand Islands Yufeng's face was distorted. The skin on her hands was like burning iron, and the Wan Feng rose behind her, and the power of fire burst out. She was going all out. Oh! Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The eruption of Thousand Islands Yufeng. It was out of his expectations. What strong flame control. What kind of bloodline power is this? Lin Feng was curious. He thought that the sky-swallowing sun wolf could easily kill Thousand Islands Yufeng, but he did not expect the situation to turn around. Thousand Islands Yufeng, who had been suppressed, suddenly erupted. Her body was like a luan fong, and the skin on her hands was red with layers of scales. Even his appearance had changed. Beast transformation. It was the first time Lin Feng had seen this kind of bloodline power. This was not a heaven-grade treasure, but a power that was emitted from within, just like his own titanium-grade body. Thousand Islands Yu Feng had been suppressed by the sky-swallowing demonic wolf, and she instantly turned the tables and began to counterattack. Powerful, Lin Feng thought. The situation had become evenly matched. After the eruption of the bloodline power, Thousand Islands Yu Feng and the sky-swallowing demonic wolf were evenly matched. The confrontation between the flames made the whole earth like a huge furnace, and the fire energy was scattered everywhere. 7 blood assassins, a top-level confrontation. Fortunately, I avoided it before. Lin Feng secretly thought that he was lucky. Thousand Islands Yu Feng's trump card had been revealed, and her strength had increased dramatically. If he had continued to fight, it would have been difficult to escape the encirclement of Meng Xiao and her. 7 blood assassins were indeed extraordinary. But Lin Feng looked at the center of the battle, his eyes shining. She can't win. Lin Feng's judgment was very accurate. If it was a fierce demon beast, Thousand Islands Yu Feng might still have a chance to win, but she met the cunning heaven demon Emperor Wulin. Even if he possessed the body of a sky-swallowing demonic wolf, his experience and combat experience were far from what Thousand Islands Yu Feng could compare with. Heaven Demon Emperor was a top existence in the Nirvana world. However, it was impossible for Heaven Demon Emperor Wulin to easily kill Thousand Islands Yu Feng. A battle of blood, a battle of life and death. After Thousand Islands Yu Feng transformed, her eyes were full of fierce light. The power of the Luan spread throughout her body, and she fought fiercely with the sky-swallowing demonic wolf. But now she couldn't care so much. Even if she couldn't kill the sky-swallowing demonic wolf, she could at least find a chance to survive. Damn it! In the canyon's golden tower, Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan's face was ashen. The explosion of blood essence was indeed a small part of his consciousness that controlled the sky-swallowing demonic wolf. He had full confidence that he could kill the greedy human. Who would have thought that he would meet this human woman first? Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan would not let her go. He killed whoever came. Who would have thought that this human woman's trump card was so strong? After a battle, he could not stop the human woman from escaping. The sky-swallowing demonic wolf was injured. Forcibly stopping it would only destroy both jade and stone. I'm so angry. Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan emitted green smoke. When I get out, I will kill all these damn humans one by one. Damn it. Boom. Thousand Islands Yu Feng finally exploded, her eyes full of bloody light. Her blood-red hands, like branding iron, burst out a huge column of flame and collided with the sky-swallowing demonic wolf head-on. The aggravation of her injuries increased the distance between them. Avoiding the underground column of flame, Thousand Islands Yu Feng endured her injuries and fled. She had not been so embarrassed for a long time. Seriously injured. Kill Lin Feng, wait for the next chance. Thousand Islands Yu Feng bit the tip of her tongue to stay awake. Failing the mission was nothing. Saving her life was the most important. Burning her blood to escape, Thousand Islands Yu Feng used the last of her strength. Feeling the pressure from the sky-swallowing demonic wolf behind her disappear, her tense mind finally relaxed. But suddenly, Thousand Islands Yu Feng's face changed greatly. No! Thousand Islands Yu Feng looked forward, her eyes full of fear. Chapter 578. The saber light was mixed with the roar of a thunder dragon. The speed was extremely fast, but as the saber descended, its astonishing power rapidly increased like a spring. Qiandao Yufeng widened her eyes in shock. Her bloodline power had already fallen into a weakened state after the fierce battle with the wolf. How could she resist? Oh, Luan Feng burst into flames, but it was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Even if Qiandao Yufeng was in her peak state, it would be extremely difficult for her to block Lin Feng's saber, let alone now that she was exhausted. Fall. Taking advantage of others' difficulties? Lin Feng had never thought of himself as a gentleman. Qiandao Yufeng's threat was not small. She was like a poisonous snake, and if he was not careful, he would be bitten. If they were switched places today, what awaited him would be her stinger. Strike first and gain the upper hand. Once she joined forces with Meng Xiao, the situation would be very unfavorable for him. Moreover, there's still this. Lin Feng looked at the monstrous flames in the distance, and the wolf that was roaring and chasing after him. His blood boiled, and his fighting spirit burned. The saber just now was just a warm-up. What he was facing now was the mutated wolf. If it was the wolf that he fought with Qiandao Yufeng before, Lin Feng admitted that he was no match for it. But now it was not much stronger than Qiandao Yufeng. There's a chance. As Lin Feng watched the entire battle, he was naturally clearly aware that not only was the heaven-devouring wolf's body injured, the image of the heavenly demon emperor shaman, while behind him, had gradually dimmed down, and his pair of eyes that burned with bright light and were peerlessly ferocious had lost their luster a long time ago. Clang! The black saber shook violently, and Lin Feng's aura surged. The best chance. Fight! Facing the howling of the sky-swallowing wolf, it was the enemy's turn to rage. Boom! Blood mist forbidden land, canyon golden pagoda. Crack! Bang! The demon Emperor Wu Luan's pillar-like body trembled violently in an instant, and the flames were like sprites. It made a sizzling sound. With a pale face, the demon Emperor Wu Luan's eyes were wide open, and he roared again and again. How? The entire canyon could hear the demon Emperor Wu Luan's furious roar. He was mad. Goddamn humans! I, heavenly demon Emperor Wu Luan, swear that one day I will tear you into pieces. 10,000 segments. Roar. Huff, huff, gasping for air. Lin Feng held his blade with one hand. The black skeleton emitted a dense dark aura that enveloped the entire area. At the same time, it also formed a natural protective barrier, preventing other demon gods and demonic beasts from entering. Lin Feng was seriously injured. Amazing. So strong. Lin Feng's face was deathly pale, but there was no fear. Instead, he was incomparably excited. The battle with the sky-devouring lion wolf was extremely satisfying. This allowed him to learn a lot. Even though he had many experiences and battle scenes of the primordial heavenly devil Qi Yin in his mind, he was still able to gain a deeper understanding of the actual battle. The body that Heaven Fei Divine Shaman Luan was using was even weaker than his. It was a true competition of combat skills. Profound intent is really important. Lin Feng sighed lightly. He did not have a blade art that was strong enough to break through everything. The importance of profound intent in a battle was self-evident. In this battle, the profound intent of darkness in his body's defense, coupled with the whirlpool body, played an important role. Fatal blows again and again. 90% of it was removed. Unfortunately, it's still a borrowed body. Lin Feng looked at the sky-devouring lion wolf that he had killed. He had almost lost. That was a forbidden technique that burned one's soul or blood to unleash combat strength that far exceeded one's own. But, in the end, it was still a failure. As the battle continued, this berserk-like ability extinguished bit by bit like a lamp until it exhausted its strength. Lin Feng stretched out his right hand and pressed it on the sky-devouring lion wolf. Hwah! In an instant, the sky-devouring lion wolf disappeared without a trace. Other than the inner core that Xiao Yun can absorb, the rest are also rare treasures. Lin Feng smiled with satisfaction. The sky-devouring lion wolf was born with a body of absolute yang and had top-notch fire aptitude. It was ranked in the top 3 of all the known bloodlines of the wolf clan, even surpassing the five-tailed snow fox. Even excluding the inner core, it was at least worth hundreds of billions of Nemo coins. Naturally, it would not be a waste. He should be furious now, right? Lin Feng thought of the heavenly demon emperor Wu Luan and smiled weakly. He didn't care. Anyway, he had already offended him. It didn't matter if he offended him a little more. It was better to anger him to death. Speed is not the key. In close combat, the instantaneous explosive power, the ability to grasp opportunities, the transformation between attack and defense, the change in rhythm, the support of profound meaning is especially important. Lin Feng was resting patiently. The battle with the sky-devouring lion wolf had benefited him a lot, and he had learned a lot. The heavenly demon Emperor Wu Luan could be said to have taught him a good lesson on how to unleash his full combat strength under the restriction of speed. Someone as strong as the Thousand Islands Yufeng, whose speed was 10 times faster than him, couldn't even escape. This was experience, the precious experience gained from countless killings. The heavenly demon Emperor Wu Luan was a top expert in the Nirvana world. But then again, why would a powerhouse of his level be imprisoned? What secret is hidden in this golden pagoda of the blood mist forbidden area? Lin Feng pondered. Even the Thousand Islands Yufeng was suspicious. So how could Lin Feng not be suspicious? He had a question mark when he first entered, but he knew more than the Thousand Islands Yufeng and knew where the key to the entire blood mist forbidden area was. The canyon, where the golden pagoda was. The source of the blood red, the secret of the blood mist forest. Lin Feng sighed and shook his head. Right now, he didn't have the ability to crack it. Wait, prepare. After removing the potential threat of the sky-devouring lion wolf, Lin Feng quickly patrolled the blood mist forbidden area again and confirmed that there were no other threats. Caution is the parent of safety. Transformation, thunder, tribulation. Lin Feng waited patiently. After a day of rest, his body had recovered by 90%. Although it was not as expected, he still had full confidence in facing the transformation thunder tribulation, even if he knew that this was definitely beyond the normal transformation thunder tribulation. For this lightning tribulation, he had made all the necessary preparations. Heaven low-grade holy treasure, thunder kuei pot. Heaven low-grade battle armor, eternal thunder pearl armor. Young master, be careful. Xiaoyun's voice suddenly sounded. Lin Feng nodded. After absorbing the energy of heaven and earth, Lin Feng adjusted himself to the best state. He could pass the first transformation thunder tribulation without any preparation, let alone now. After a long breath, Lin Feng calmed his heart and waited. He felt the changes in the sky become clearer and clearer. Bolts of lightning gathered, like the fury of thunder. Strange phenomena appeared continuously, bringing with it a power stronger than the transformation thunder tribulation. Crack, crack, rumble, rumble. Thunder rumbled, mixed with a mournful pressure, terrifying to the extreme, as if it could destroy everything. Under the power of nature, humans were like ants. However, today, Lin Feng was challenging the heavens without any fear. He was using human strength to fight against the heavens without the slightest bit of fear. Come, Lin Feng shouted, his eyes shining brightly. Chapter 579. Transformation Tribulation Thunder 3. Transformation Tribulation Thunder 9. Condensation Tribulation Thunder 27. Lin Feng was now very clear about the 3 major tribulations of the demonic beast transformation path. In terms of gossip, the Blood Tower was indeed not as powerful as the Bagua Palace. The Bagua Palace knew the slightest news, but in terms of cultivation information, the Blood Tower was not inferior to the Bagua Palace. The history of the Blood Tower was quite long. At this time, Lin Feng was wearing an ordinary black martial suit. He did not wear the indestructible Thunder Pearl armor or even the titanium grade body. However, from Lin Feng's calm expression, it was obvious that he did it deliberately. Now that he was at the fetus 6th stage, his physical strength was as high as 3rd stage. He directly used his physical body to take it. He was not trying to be brave, but to maximize the benefits. Boom! The first tribulation, thunder fell. The power was tyrannical, comparable to the top attack of the fetus 6th stage. However, Lin Feng did not even move half a step. The Thunder Dragon embryo star was incomparably dazzling, as if it had been hungry for a long time, crazily devouring the tribulation thunder energy. The soul of the earth also began to absorb, increasing its strength. Good. Lin Feng felt very good. The tribulation thunder energy could not only increase the level of the soul of the earth and the Thunder Dragon embryo star, but the cells in his body were also excited. Every time the tribulation thunder energy was absorbed, it would increase the most direct reaction to the thunder elemental energy. This was the greatest value. Rumble, rumble. The second, third, and fourth tribulation thunder energy began to increase. Lin Feng also began to use the titanium grade body to absorb the tribulation thunder energy to the maximum, whether it was the whirlpool body or the profound meaning. The sage treasure armor would offset a portion of the power of the tribulation lightning. It was a waste. Hiss. Lin Feng tried his best to absorb. The absorption time was very short, but the effect was amazing. Resisting the tribulation thunder would naturally cause damage to the body. It was comparable to taking the attack of a fetus six-stage expert, but the more pain he suffered, the more he absorbed. Lin Feng endured the pain, and the titanium grade body continued to improve, maximizing the benefits. Compared to the first tribulation thunder, he had more experience now. Boom! Heaven was enraged. When the ninth tribulation lightning struck, Lin Feng was still wearing his black martial attire. He used his physical strength to resist the normal transformation lightning tribulation. On the Thunder Dragon birthplace star, the soul of the earth had a full meal. Lin Feng pursed his lips and took a deep breath after absorbing the tribulation lightning's energy into his cells. It's about doubled. His senses were very clear. Lin Feng understood that, just like the holy fruit and the bloody pearl, his cell's ability to absorb tribulation lightning was decreasing. Even so, it was still impressive. Crack! Lin Feng looked up at the sky. Thunder and lightning intertwined, but the thunderclouds in the sky did not disappear. Instead, it became even worse and continued to wreak havoc and accumulate. Lin Feng was not afraid. Instead, he was happy. A faint smile appeared on his face. He had long expected that there would be more than 9 transformation tribulation thunders. Back then, there had been 9 transformation tribulation thunders. Today, there would only be more. Come! Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The 10th strike. The 11th strike. The 12th one. Boom! The 7th level of the titanium grade body finally suffered a blow, and the golden light weakened a little. Lin Feng nodded gently. I've endured to the 12th strike. Not bad. His original plan was to rely on his physical strength to endure to the 10th strike. What a pity. If I wasn't injured, it wouldn't be a problem to endure one more strike. Lin Feng didn't care too much. Small details couldn't affect the entire process of the tribulation lightning. Swish! A one-legged, strange green pot appeared in his hand. The pot was round, and there was a spiral on the top of the pot. The entire pot was engraved with an ancient totem. It was a divine beast that looked like a green ox with 3 legs and no horns. Thunder Kuei. Whoosh! Connected by blood, the Thunder Kuei pot emitted a dazzling light. In an instant, a Thunder Kuei appeared above the pot's mouth. It opened its mouth and let out a roar, its voice filled with joy and excitement. Lin Feng looked at the lightning in the sky, full of confidence. A total of 500 million blood kill points had reached the price limit of a low-grade holy treasure. The Thunder Kuei pot was naturally not ordinary. Boom! The 13th tribulation lightning fell with a loud bang. The Thunder Kuei pot's totem lit up, and the spiral on the top of the pot emitted a brilliant light. The divine beast Thunder Kuei at the mouth of the pot roared and opened its mouth to swallow the tribulation lightning. The aura of the Thunder Kuei pot suddenly increased, like an empty wine pot that began to fill with wine. Suddenly, the pressure on Lin Feng relaxed. Z. The 7th level of the titanium grade body stabilized again. The remaining tribulation lightning energy was absorbed again. The strength of the Thunder Kuei pot made Lin Feng feel as if he was enjoying a feast. With the Thunder Kuei pot alone, it would have no problem reaching the 20th level. Lin Feng smiled. With a heaven-grade holy treasure, it was much easier to transform the tribulation lightning. The Thunder Kuei pot wasn't just a heaven-grade, low-grade holy treasure. It was worth 500 million blood kill points, equivalent to 500 billion Nemo dollars, incomparable to a heaven-grade, mid-grade holy treasure. This was because the Thunder Kuei pot itself was an upgradable holy treasure. As long as it was given enough thunder energy to absorb, it could advance. This was because the core of the Thunder Kuei pot's origin was the divine beast Thunder Kuei in the pot. It was born to control thunder and had a divine beast of thunder. As long as the Thunder Kuei absorbed enough thunder energy, it would advance. In addition to storing and absorbing Thunder Saint Chi, the Thunder Kuei pot could also release the divine beast Thunder Kuei for battle. Its combat power was top tier than the 6 Blood Assassins. The 17 strike, the 18 strike, the 19 strike. Most of the tribulation lightning energy was absorbed and consumed, and a small part turned into energy and was absorbed by Lin Feng. Unlike the whirlpool body and armor that offset the tribulation lightning energy, the Thunder Kuei pot could store thunder energy, just like the Dragon Kuei pearl chain. In other words, Lin Feng could absorb the tribulation lightning as pure Saint Crystal energy when the time came. Of course, the lightning energy that the Thunder Kuei pot could store was limited, but it wasn't difficult to upgrade. The more it absorbed, the more its capacity expanded. 3 different forms. When the pot transforms from green to purple, the Thunder Kuei pot will enter the second form and become a mid-heaven tier sacred treasure. Lin Feng looked at the Thunder Kuei pot, which was half green and half purple. In fact, in terms of function alone, 500 billion Nemo dollars could buy a heaven-tier mid-grade sacred treasure that was better than it. Its value was reflected in its advancement. After absorbing enough thunder energy, it could finally transform into the third form, the Black Thunder Kuei pot. A high heaven-tier sacred treasure. Lin Feng was well prepared. Just by relying on the 7th level of the titanium grade body and the Thunder Kuei pot, he had already withstood the 20th tribulation lightning. Its power was comparable to Zizhou's top-tier attack. Not to mention a demonic beast in the transformation stage. Even a demonic beast in the essence condensation stage might not be able to withstand it. But to Lin Feng, it was a rare and valuable improvement. Body, aptitude, strength level, and whoosh. Lin Feng's eyes lit up, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. The transcendent grade Thunder Dragon Saint Chi had transformed to the 7th level. The absorption rate of the tribulation lightning energy had jumped again. Chapter 580. The Thunder Dragon Saint Chi had barely formed a star at the 6th level. Because of his lack of talent, it was difficult to cultivate Saint Chi beyond the 1st level. Even with the Thunder Dragon scripture, his speed was still slower than the Dark Demon Saint Chi and Alcade Saint Chi. Even so, he had already reached the 7th level. It wasn't a qualitative breakthrough, but the amount and speed of absorbing the tribulation lightning had greatly increased. The tribulation lightning will increase every 9 bolts. Lin Feng didn't dare to be careless. The 19th bolt was much more powerful than the 18th. The 20th bolt was even more extraordinary. Rumble, rumble. The tribulation lightning raged. Its power had already surpassed the level of Zizhou. The 21st bolt, the 22nd bolt. The improvement of the Thunder Dragon Star increased the limit of the Thunder Kuei pot by 2 bolts. At the 23rd bolt, Lin Feng had already started to use the whirlpool to consume the tribulation lightning's energy. It was so powerful that every bolt of tribulation lightning was greatly strengthened. It had already reached the Nemo level. Whoosh! Lin Feng couldn't help but smile when he felt the soul of the Earth sublimation. With the help of the Dragon Sea Pearl Necklace, the Talent Soul's level had always been higher than the soul of the Earth's, but the soul of the Earth had reached the 7th level first. With the strengthening of his body, his ability to absorb and resist the tribulation lightning's energy had also increased slightly. The last 9 bolts of tribulation lightning are where the real essence lies. Lin Feng was looking forward to it. The color of the Thunder Kuei pot was gradually approaching purple. The divine beast Thunder Kuei roared. Its body was completely different from before. Everything was progressing on the right track. The 25th bolt. Great! Lin Feng took it head-on again. The blood vessels on his forehead bulged. The golden dragon rose into the sky. He used the dark Kuei and used the whirlpool to weaken the tribulation lightning's power. Endless tribulation lightning energy poured into his body, but it was restrained by the true dragon Saint power. Lin Feng absorbed it step by step. Zizhou, 7th level. The true dragon Saint power was as strong as the tribulation lightning energy. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The thunderclouds in the sky were furious. But when faced with an assassin whose combat power was comparable to the 7 bloodlines, humans who were good at lightning and defense couldn't really be shaken by the tribulation lightning. Until now, the 26th bolt of tribulation lightning. Lin Feng was still wearing his black martial attire. Eternal lightning pearl armor. Lin Feng finally took out the low-grade heaven-class battle armor. The key to the whole battle armor was the 33 indestructible thunder beads embedded in it. They were connected to the battle armor and could unleash the power of the battle armor. If the indestructible thunder pearl stored first-class holy chi, then the indestructible thunder pearl armor would be an ordinary low-class heaven-tier armor. However, if the indestructible thunder pearl armor contained first-class holy chi, then the armor would be an ordinary low-class heaven-tier armor. It was one of the best among the low-grade heaven rank. The power of the Calamity Thunder is more than just first-grade Thunder Saint Chi. Just like the true Dragon Saint power, it's even above Transcendent Grade 1. Lin Feng absorbed the disastrous thunder energy in his body. His cells were excited. He had already absorbed all the first-grade thunder Saint Chi stored in the 33 thunder pearls of the indestructible thunder pearl armor. He had been waiting for this moment. No matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. As for the energy of the tribulation lightning, every bit counted. Come on. Lin Feng looked up at the sky, still confident. Based on his experience and observations, Heaven was about to unleash his most powerful attack and engage in a life and death struggle. But this was the final madness. Whoosh, whoosh. The 33 indestructible thunder pearls were filled to the brim with tribulation lightning energy. Lin Feng's body crackled with lightning. With the indestructible thunder pearl armor, the power that the whirlpool had to withstand was instantly reduced, even though the 26th bolt of tribulation lightning was twice as powerful as the 25th bolt. At this moment, crack, 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 the lightning Kuei pot turned from green to purple. As the tribulation lightning energy continued to pour in, the lightning Kuei pot finally transformed. The divine beast thunder Kuei let out an excited howl. Its size had increased by several times, and the purple carvings on the spiral veins had become clearer. The thunder Kuei pot was emitting a faint purple light, and the inside of the pot was undergoing earth-shaking changes. Even the pot itself had swelled a lot. Medium-grade, heaven-class sage treasure. Lin Feng smiled slightly. The evolution was just right. It meant that he could store more tribulation lightning energy. Boom! Heaven's punishment. The terrifying tribulation lightning descended from the sky. It was as thick as a 1,000-year-old tree. It had already surpassed the strength of an 8-blood assassin and reached the strength of a 9-blood assassin. The terrifying attack power was unstoppable, heading straight for the ant-like humans in the center of the tribulation lightning. But sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The lightning Kuei pot flashed. Whoosh, whoosh. The indestructible thunder pearl armor absorbed the energy. Chi. The whirlpool was activated. Lin Feng's eyes flashed with an intense light. Clang! The power of the supreme grade heavenly saint weapon, Black Lotus, gathered. Endless tribulation, lightning energy blasted over. Lin Feng's aura reached its peak. Endless tribulation, lightning energy surged in his body. Lin Feng roared, and black haze covered the entire area. He swung his saber, breaking the sea of the 7th limit. The thunderclouds dissipated. The black haze also disappeared without a trace. The forbidden blood fog ground was a mess. A figure in battle armor stood in the center, holding a black saber. He was like an undefeated warrior Shura. He had withstood 27 bolts of tribulation lightning and was unscathed. There was not a single wound on his body. Such tyrannical strength was amazing. He was only at the 7th stage of embryonic week. It's over. Lin Feng put away his saber and heaved a sigh of relief. Above his skin, there was still the violent and abundant energy of the lightning tribulation. His cells continued to absorb it, and the Thunder Dragon embryo Stark quickly swallowed it. Although his body was still in great pain, Lin Feng's heart had calmed down. Just as he had expected, there were a total of 27 bolts of tribulation lightning. If only there were a few more. Lin Feng smiled. He was far from being forced to his limit. 3 or 4 more bolts of tribulation lightning would not be a problem. Compared to the first tribulation lightning, this one was too easy. Phew! Lin Feng clenched his fist. Feeling the increase in Xiao Yun's strength, he smiled with satisfaction. When Xiao Yun entered the essence condensation stage and swallowed the inner core of the sky-swallowing wolf, his cultivation speed would increase again. He sat cross-legged. Lin Feng was not in a hurry to leave. The tribulation lightning had brought great benefits, and it had increased his strength once again, especially thunder aptitude. More than 3 times the previous one, close to 4 times. Lin Feng circulated and absorbed the thunder energy. The further he went, the harder it was to improve, because his body cells had adapted to the tribulation lightning energy. The thunder energy of the tribulation lightning was purer and more powerful than that of the tribulation lightning, but it had only increased a little at the beginning. Even so, Lin Feng was already very satisfied. It's about 8 times the previous one. The light aptitude and the dark aptitude are about 10 times the thunder aptitude. The difference is actually not that big. Lin Feng nodded. One day later. It's about time. Lin Feng got up. His body had almost recovered 95%. It was time to leave, so that they won't get anxious from waiting. Lin Feng smiled. A sharp light flashed, and his silhouette slowly disappeared. Chapter 581. Blood Fog Forest. Plus dash. Damn it, where did he go? He can't just disappear. He must be hiding somewhere. Meng Xiao was like a headless fly, searching everywhere. His face, which was covered with black hair, emitted a wild aura, revealing a fierce look. He was not as smart as Qiandao Yufeng, who had guessed that Lin Feng had entered the blood fog forbidden land. Meng Xiao had not given up, and in fact he could not give up. Since he had already made his move, there was no way out. Moreover, after testing Lin Feng's strength, Meng Xiao was very confident. That day, he had been caught off guard by Lin Feng and suffered a little loss. As long as he could find Lin Feng, he would not make the same mistake twice. With his strength, Meng Xiao was confident that he could kill Lin Feng. Come out. Lin Feng, if you're a man, come out and fight to the death. Don't hide like a woman. Come out. Meng Xiao roared. His hands turned into claws, cold light shining. He was full of killing intent for Lin Feng. Now that Qiandao Yufeng was mocking him, who would be fooled by this kind of provocation? If he really wanted to hide, he would hide even more. But, however, Lin Feng had really appeared. Looking for me? Lin Feng was calm and composed. The tranquility of the lake was a sharp contrast to the fierce Meng Xiao in front of him. Meng Xiao was looking for him, and he was also looking for Meng Xiao. Enemies that could be seen were much easier to deal with than enemies that could not be seen. Lin Feng would not hesitate to return to the blood fog forbidden land and leave a bomb for no reason. Whoosh! Meng Xiao's eyes lit up, revealing a beast-like killing intent. Ha, you have guts. Meng Xiao sneered. Don't think that you can be so unscrupulous because you had the upper hand last time. This time, don't think of plotting against me again. Lin Feng smiled. Clang! Black saber was unsheathed. Black haze was emitted, and the saber intent soared into the sky. I don't have that intention. Lin Feng looked at Meng Xiao, and his body suddenly expanded. The 7th tier of titanium gray body was directly displayed. What was different from before was that, currently, the foundation of the 7th tier of the titanium gray body was fetus weak level 7. Bang! Bang! The Thunder Dragon roared. Lin Feng activated his strongest Thunder Dragon scripture. The 7th stage. No, impossible. Meng Zhao's eyes widened in shock. His entire body was covered in blood, and the armor on his body had long since been shattered. His surroundings were enveloped in a black haze, and it was as if he had fallen into a bottomless abyss of hell. A sharp saber light broke through the darkness in front of Xiao Chun, and a tyrannical aura assaulted him. The thunder dragon roared, and the vortex spun. Meng Xiao was already powerless to resist. Boom! The lightning dragon pierced through. Lightning flashed wildly and blood splattered everywhere. Pump! Extremely unwilling, Meng Zhao's body split into two and fell into a pool of blood. Blood mist covered the land. Lin Feng is back. Really? That's impossible, right? It's absolutely true. The news from the rookie camp has been confirmed. Didn't Meng Xiao and Thousand Islands Yufeng also go to the Blood Mist Forest? Shh, don't talk nonsense. Lin Feng returned. What he caused was not a small earthquake. There was once a rumor that Lin Feng had dug up the treasures of the Blood Mist Forest and had countless blood-red pearls on him, causing a group of blood assassins to covet him. However, there were not many who truly had the heart and courage. The most famous were undoubtedly Meng Xiao and Thousand Islands Yufeng. But now, Lin Feng was back. There was no news of the two of them. As long as one was not too stupid, one could guess what had happened. In the Blood Tower, the Blood Mist Forest, reputation was earned through fighting. Here, only strength was believed. Everything else was fake. Only with enough strength could one be respected. Blood Tower 30. Oh, just as he entered the 6th floor, Lin Feng saw a familiar figure. Blood Shadow. You become stronger. He was still wearing a black mask, and his pair of blood-red eyes were filled with valiant power. You too. Lin Feng looked straight at Blood Shadow. The eyes were the window to the soul. Blood Shadow's talent soul had improved again since the last time he saw him. After being nurtured by the Blood Tower, receiving the treatment of 9 bloodlines, and obtaining a perfect body, Blood Shadow's strength increased at a speed no slower than his. Lin Feng knew very well that the possibility of him losing was still very high. Blood Shadow said coldly, "That's because I've been here longer than you." There seemed to be a hint of self-mockery and cold sneer in his voice. Blood Shadow said, "Did you kill Meng Xiao and Thousand Islands Yufeng?" Lin Feng smiled indifferently. "What do you think?" Blood Shadow sneered. "Those who aren't familiar with you will think that you are a pushover. Only I know how crazy you are. Your person is like your saber. Those idiots want to snatch something from you. They don't know what's good for them." Lin Feng looked at Blood Shadow and felt a sense of déjà vu. "Are you very familiar with me?" Blood Shadow's eyes deepened. "I'm definitely more familiar with you than you are. Who are you?" Lin Feng stared at Blood Shadow. "Is it important?" Blood Shadow said coldly, "In the Battle of Brilliance in 2 months, if you can defeat me, I'll tell you." Lin Feng said, "It's a deal." Blood Shadow turned and left. "Don't disappoint me." 2 months later, the Battle of Brilliance. Lin Feng naturally remembered that all the talented new stars of the 33 continents were gathered. Everyone under the age of 30 could participate. Although he didn't know why Blood Shadow valued him so much, since he had promised Blood Shadow, Lin Feng naturally wouldn't go back on his word. Furthermore, being able to compete with the top geniuses of the 33 continents was very attractive to him. Especially the first place on the Brilliance list, the 18-year-old successor of the immortal pavilion, Goddess Wakaman. It's impossible to catch up to her in 2 months. However, it's possible to increase my combat strength from 7 bloodlines to 8 bloodlines. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't bite off more than he could chew. Goddess Wakaman was stronger than the 3 9-bloodline assassins of the Blood Tower. He was quite far away from her. Lin Feng took out the Thunder Kuei pot. The crystal purple color was of a higher quality than the previous cyan color. Now, the Thunder Kuei pot, which was already a mid-heaven level sacred treasure, was full of tribulation thunder energy. The energy was extremely pure. It could be used to improve the Thunder Dragon Holy Qi and the soul of the earth. Of course, the choice was in Lin Feng's hands. Improve the soul of the earth. Lin Feng didn't hesitate. Compared to the other geniuses in the Battle of Brilliance, his weakest point wasn't his holy chi, but his strength level. 1 day later. Very good. Lin Feng smiled with satisfaction. The Thunder Kuei pot, including the 33 Eternal Thunder Pearls, was empty, but his Soul of the Earth had been replaced by the Soul of the Earth. The advancement was quite rapid, but it was a long way to go from the 8th to the 9th. Normally, it'll take more than half a year. Lin Feng got up and walked out of the door. He couldn't wait that long. He would ask Brother Eagle if there was any other simple way. Oh! As soon as he walked out, Lin Feng was surprised. It was rare for Brother Eagle, Gulan, and Qian Ren to gather together. Their faces were solemn, as if they were discussing something. Chapter 582. Golden Rock, Ji Qianshou dead. Blood Tower number 1 team, annihilated. Mission failed. Lin Feng was slightly startled. He remembered that this 6-blood mission with full commission was mentioned by Brother Eagle before entering the Blood Fog Forest. It was a 5-man team mission. Previously, it was an exclusive mission of Blood Tower number 7. The mission failed, and the 5 6-blood assassins were annihilated. Then it was directly promoted to full commission and listed as a common mission. After that, the mission was taken over by Blood Tower number 1, led by Golden Rock, who ranked 2nd in combat strength, and Ji Qianshou, who ranked 5th. But now they were annihilated. This mission isn't simple, Lin Feng thought. The top 10 6-blood assassins all had the combat strength of a 7-blood assassin. The top 3 had the combat strength of a normal 7-blood assassin. The 5-man team of Blood Tower number 1 was comparable to the 7-blood combination of Meng Xiao and Qiandao Yufeng, but they still failed. Because the common mission failed for the first time, the reward has now tripled. Warhawk's eyes were burning. 30 million blood kill points. Gulan was slightly surprised. A 7-blood mission, Qianyu said. Warhawk shook his head. It's just the reward. According to the current information of Blood Tower, the difficulty of this mission is still fixed at 6-blood. Once it fails again, it will immediately be upgraded to 7-blood mission, and the reward will be increased to 7-blood. Lin Feng listened. Blood Tower had a clear mission evaluation, so they wouldn't casually upgrade the standard of a mission because of one failure. What kind of mission is this? Lin Feng was curious. Qinyu looked at him with her beautiful eyes. A rescue mission. You need to go deep into the demon territory, similar to East Peace Continent's Wiener, Warhawk explained. There are many demons living in the 33 continents. Although they are incompatible with each other, they rarely take the initiative to attack humans. However, small battles can be seen everywhere. Lin Feng nodded. He was once captured in Wiener and almost became a slave. The specific location is unknown, and the rescuer is unknown. Warhawk said, the details are confidential. Only those who receive the mission will know. But one thing is for sure, this mission is not simple. Gulan nodded. With Golden Rock's strength, he couldn't escape. Warhawk replied, the difficulty of carrying out missions in human territory and demon territory is different. Qianyu's beautiful eyes flickered. It's because of the terrain. That's right. Warhawk nodded. Demon territory has a lot of dark energy, swamps, and secret realms. There are traps everywhere. Even the 7-blood assassins might not be able to protect themselves if they enter. Many powerful, profound nether earth devils can unleash the power of ordinary celestial devil experts in the devil territory. Geographical advantage was very important. Demons who were naturally proficient in the path of darkness. In an area where dark energy was abundant, fighting in one's own territory was naturally stronger. So Warhawk, Gorin seemed to understand. You want to accept a mission? Qianren smiled. Warhawk laughed heartily. I know I can't hide it from you. It would be a pity if I didn't accept such an interesting and challenging quest. Lin Feng smiled. The last time Brother Eagle mentioned it to him, his eyes had already lit up. It was a pity that the mission had been accepted. For Warhawk, this mission was not only challenging, but also rewarding. Why not do it? What do you think? Warhawk looked at the crowd, his eyes shining. This was a small team mission that required 5 people to activate. Oh, Gorin was hesitant. Warhawk looked over. Lin Feng smiled. I don't mind. It's not a bad thing to go out and temper yourself. He had always welcomed challenges. There was an old saying on Earth, it's better to travel 10,000 miles than to read 10,000 books. Seclusion was important, but going out to temper oneself was also a part of cultivation. Moreover, this was a rare mission with a full commission. Lin Feng was also curious. Qianren shook his head. We don't have enough people. Gorin said seriously. This six-blood mission is very strange. There aren't many six-blood assassins willing to accept it, especially since the four of us are from Blood Tower 30. The others will definitely hesitate if they want to join. Lin Feng nodded. Every Blood Tower had its own faction. Basically, they were in a state of competition. The team needed to work together and trust each other. If four of them came from Blood Tower 30 and the fifth came from somewhere else, there would be a crack in the team. It was fine if everything went smoothly. But what if they encountered true danger? The first to die would most likely be the fifth person. Warhawk looked troubled. How about this? I'll ask a few friends and see if they're interested. I'll also go to Blood Mist Palace and ask if we can change the number of people. Wait for my news. Okay, everyone agreed. Quickly raise your strength level. Gorin and Qianyu nodded. Yes, Lin Feng asked. Gorin smiled. There are three methods. First, holy fruits rich in heaven and earth energy. We call them pure energy holy fruits. They're several times more expensive than ordinary holy fruits. But you have to remember, starting from the second holy fruit of the same kind, the effect will begin to decline. Lin Feng nodded. He knew this method. Back then, Heavenly Demon Emperor Wu Luan had used 2 ebony sandalwood immortal plant, a heaven-class high-grade pure energy holy fruit, to exchange for a small sky swallowing sunwolf. Second, pure energy holy crystals, also known as primitive holy crystals. Gorin took out a blue holy crystal. This is a water holy crystal. It contains first-grade water holy chi. But in fact, every holy crystal's initial state is pure energy holy crystal. The holy crystals sold on the market are formed after the energy in the pure energy holy crystal is absorbed and infused with various types of holy chi. Lin Feng understood. So, this was a pure energy holy crystal. Third, all kinds of spiritual caves and treasures. It stores a lot of heaven and earth energy, and the body can absorb it automatically. Actually, Brother Lin Feng, if you want to quickly raise your strength level, the third method is the closest for you. Gorin smiled. Lin Feng did not understand. Qianren said, decision treatment. That's right. Galan nodded. Every blood assassin with potential and qualifications will be nominated for the decision-making treatment. For example, Qianren has 7 blood treatment, and Blood Shadow has 9 blood treatment. From my experience, Lin Feng, you have at least 8 blood treatment. It is very possible that you have 9 blood. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. In other words, there were spiritual caves and treasures in the decision treatment to raise one's strength level. But to get the decision treatment, first you have to show the corresponding talent, qualifications, combat strength, and so on. Gorin looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, your talent and qualifications are needless to say, but your performance is not enough. The rule of the Blood Tower is that the decision evaluation is based on the task, and actual combat is the first factor. I see, Lin Feng said gratefully. After all, the Blood Tower was an assassin organization. Completing the task was very important. Actual combat strength was what the Blood Tower valued the most.